Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the ESEA AU MDL Finals. It will be between Greyhounds and Chiefs. This should be a hell of a game, and I've got a crowd of people with me, joined by Cyberwaste, who will of course be my co-caster, as well as we've got Sassy on the analyst desk. So, Cyber, what do you think here? Are you excited? I'm thrilled.
I am amped, pumped, and all sorts of those adjectives. These two teams have definitely proven their mettle and proven their worth in wanting to make it to this stage. They will be wanting to book a ticket to the Global Challenge for season number 29. And to be brutally honest, you could not pick two better representatives of doing so.
No, and it was super close. We've had some absolutely insane series leading into it, especially last night with Greyhound's game going all three. They got blown out on the first map of the series, and that led to them having a very, very close game on Mirage. You could literally have flipped the coin, and that series would have been different. We would have had a different finalist. Greyhound wouldn't have even been here. They managed to pull that one out, have a big showing on Nuke, and here we are. We've got them punching their ticket all the way through to the grand finals. And can they clinch it? Can they take the season of MDL?
Well, history would really dictate that, but we do have another person here to give us a little bit more insight and to crunch through the juicy statistics. Would you kindly introduce yourself, sir?
I feel so lonely as well, by the way. Hi.
G'day, Mitch. How's it going?
Oh, I'm going pretty good. How are you going?
Not too bad, thanks. By the way, everyone, my name's Sassy and this is Mitch. We'll be your analyst for tonight. You keen for this game, Mitch?
Dude, this is going to be the game of the year. We've got two amazing teams. This is such a historic matchup. It's been going on for a year now. What do you think we're going to be expecting on these three maps? We've got Dust 2, Inferno, and Nuke. What do you think?
Well, definitely some of the maps I expected in there. I wasn't quite sure about Dust 2. Didn't expect it to come that early in the pick. Actually, no. When I think about it, I do. But you know, Chiefs obviously removing Overpass like they normally do. Same with Greyhounds removing. If you look at their most recent matchups, that's generally the trend when they play a best-of-3 series. Obviously, we did see Inferno with Chiefs playing a really dominant game against Paradox. Obviously, Greyhound definitely a different, completely different beast compared to Paradox there. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see what Chiefs are going to do playing a team of a different cap.
Exactly. Well, we've got a moment. Shall we go through the rosters?
For sure. Do you want to run through them?
Yeah, I'll take it through. So on the Chiefs, we've got Moe Siku, we've got Tux filling in for Iron at the moment. We've got Infrequent, Flix, and Texter. And on the Greyhound side, we've got Dexter, Urcast, Malta, Sterling, and Dick Stacy. Really good matchups.
Definitely. Now, the first thing I obviously want to point out there is obvious Greyhound not having satisfaction. Now, I believe these two sides did play once or twice for the Pro League finals qualification.
Yeah,
and,
that was a few days ago.
Yeah, so they played with Sterling, but it's going to be interesting to see how they'll play without gratisfaction.
Exactly. And of course, Iron's been gone for a while now, and Tux has been filling in for them. I expect a lot of AWP shots from Infrequent. We saw that yesterday as well. Like, he was fragging on Inferno, and he is definitely going to show some of his true colors.
For sure. Going through the other maps, Dust 2, I definitely see that in Greyhound's face. Like, whenever they've played Chiefs on this map, they've been very, very dominant. And I mean, let's be honest here. Like, if you look at their recent matches, Greyhound, they have been really, really dominant against Chiefs within the almost the last year. Would you say?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
For sure. Obviously, Nuke being a map where Chiefs have had the most success against Greyhound, so definitely we're gonna have to see Chiefs really take Inferno. Really, for me,
Yeah. Well, before we throw it back to the casters, what are your predictions for all the maps?
my predictions. Well, it's a bit hard. Like Greyhound would normally be my favorite with Gratisfaction. I still think they've got that dominance over Chiefs. I'm definitely expecting a close map on Inferno, but I reckon Greyhound will take it and they'll take out Dust 2 as well. So 2-0 from them. If Chiefs do get
Well-
Inferno, then I reckon maybe they might have a chance.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna cut you off because we're going live into the first round. Let's throw it to your casters, Cyber Waste and Dreamboat. Take it.
Thank you, Mitch. We are in fact live. We got the big green text from the server in our faces. That's our indicator. And it will be Greyhound starting out on your CT side. Chiefs are over on the T side. They have full armor for that, with the exception of Tux, who's picked up a pair of flashes and a smoke. 2 smokes on the side of Greyhound, and we'll see how they elect to use those Cyber Waste.
Yes, indeed. And looking at Chiefs ESC, they're really wanting to play the recon game, and Texas already caught wind of one member of Greyhound at the top of mid, and that's causing them to retreat. So we're still in the real early stages, but if they moved a little bit further forward, Greyhound, they might find the bomb, but Flicks and Tux will find heads very early on. So that is Dick Stacy and Sterling being non-factors and taken to the morgue early on. Chiefs really putting the foot down and they've cleaned out the B site.
Urcast down to 10 HP. Has spotted the players up. He's in a lot of trouble. And Flicks will get one sitting bottom banana, just trying to cut off the rotators. But Urcast is quite hurt. He's got Malt and Dexter, and this is going to be tough. Urcast is now taking out 2v4 retake right now. What can Dexter and Malta pull off? Malta's moved up. He is the point of contact, and Moe takes him off. Now it's Dexter. 1v4. Finds the first one. Not able to get the second one. Dexter grabs that kill, and Chiefs take the pistol round.
And that's a pivotal one for them to grab as well. Given how strong the CT side has traditionally been on Inferno, maybe not so much now with recent changes, but it's still stronger to defend than it is to attack. So Chiefs definitely starting on the right foot, and hopefully they'll want to keep that going. But we only have one rifle. They're big on the back of Texas. He's got the AK, and the rest of Chiefs are really want to rake in that coin and line their coffers. Greyhound are not going quietly, though. They have invested pistols, armor, and a few nades as well to hold off the attack. And, well, it's trading evenly, but you'd definitely give those to the T's. And good thing for Chiefs, the rifle still stands.
Yeah, just a couple SMGs falling, not the end of the world whatsoever. Stacy lurking on the edge of the smoke as the bomb goes down. What can he find? Well, he takes a little bit of damage from Texta that will have been heard by the player on the site, so they're aware that's where one is coming from. Do they have any recollection as to where Urcast is the $1 million question. They are just looking for a couple exits. Urcast, he might get right up and on Flicks if he's not careful. Urcast actually might just recover this Mac 10 and hope it can do some damage into the next round. And it looks to be what he's content with. Dick Stacy, though, in library. Well, not sure. I'm not sure anyone will exit that way. So he should be A-okay as Chiefs roll to a second round. Urcast here. Oh, he might find the AK. That's Texta right in front of him. Oh, but Texta falls back. And Dick Stacy falls to Flicks. Mac 10. Not bad for Chiefs. Just Mac 10's loss is no real big loss at all.
Nah, they're essentially crew expendable with weaponry like that. If they go down, not really a big loss. If they get a frag before they go down, that's definitely the ideal scenario. And well, Greyhound, they have to cop another one on the chin with the armor and Mac 10 being carried over. Big nade though! HG going at the feet of 3 Chiefs players and doing a ton of damage. That could actually make this Mac 10 and the 5.7 a little bit more potent. And now Flicks has hit the deck and is out of the round. So Chiefs a little bit short-handed in the early goings.
Yeah, and really good read by Chiefs as well to immediately turn around and hit the A bomb set. They've gotten there before. Most of the rotates have come in. There's a couple. Sterling and Dixie. Oh my, that's 3 quick kills. Tuck's getting 2 of them. I think that a third onto Malta. Now it is just Urcast once again with that Mac 10 that he carried over from the round before, trying to find any form of an exit. Tuck's being down to 7 HP might be something that he can convert on. The rest are all pretty healthy though. And Mui is looking for it. Gets him in the back. Builds himself a little bit of money. That is 600 a kill. Not much of a gun to recover, though. I think he had an MP7.
A slight upgrade over the Mac 10, all things considered, but any frag that Urcast can get will have a ton of value because they are on the CT side, are Grayhound, and anything that they can get to make things a little bit easier because their weaponry and utility is more expensive on the defending side. Anything to make that easier will be appreciated. But now, 4 guns. We are now buying into the first gun round of the half and of the series. And we do see the duel between the 2 AWPers, Sterling and Infrequent. An AWP on T-side Inferno. Bit of a peculiar choice, if I say so.
Well, slow pace coming in from Chiefs at the start of the round. Just grabbing a little bit of space. See Tux going in to Apps. Malta is going to be there to greet him. That's going to be the first line of contact. And Tux hits that shot. Will be traded back by the up of Sterling. And actually, Dexter chimes into one onto Texta as well. Remaining 3 players from Chiefs are starting to work their way up Banana. But good start for Grayhound, having the big advantage in players right now.
Indeed, it's 4 bodies on the field, 3.5 in terms of HP, give or take. But still, you give the advantage to Grayhound. And now the pace is slowed down quite considerably, and they do have the advantage of time to Chiefs to sort of divide and conquer, hopefully. But there are 2 to a site, and Chiefs will be wise to sort of try and break things open, and that's a huge frag for Moe to get. That is the AWP done and laid to rest. And the bomb is actually moving towards the A's site. There is a full-blown engagement almost on the cards, and the bomb is actually down. The digits are punched, and Dexter comes in like Batman. Will claim 2 frags, and now it is Flicks versus 2 Dogs of War, and we'll only get 1. There'll be Dick Stacy going down, but Urcast will get the round for Grayhound, and wanted to get the AWP. It does end up claiming it to give to Sterling. So Grayhound do claim their first, but it was extremely costly.
That was really awkward, and I didn't entirely see how it happened. Dexter was hiding in pit. He managed to work his way out when the bomb got planted, trying to catch the planter. And somehow Infrequent ended up behind him or beside him and didn't see him. And Dexter kind of looked to his left. I guess he heard the drop at a balcony, and he's like, oh, that's a free kill. So a little bit of convenience there for Grayhound as I grab the first one, and now we see it push down Banana. Dick Stacy and Urcast grabbing a lot of space right now, throwing in an HE. Does 1 tick of damage, those 2 nades to Moe. So no big damage, that's for sure. I'm making the most of that investment. But it is an interesting buy here from Grayhound. They still have 2 SMGs, but they're going up against full AKs. Money not great for Grayhound. This is a great opportunity for Chiefs to control the economy should they win this round.
Definitely, because, well, look at it. They don't have full rifles on the side of Grayhound, as you did mention. They have to fall back on the SMGs, which are not bad by any stretch. Don't get me wrong, but in this instance, you definitely rather an M4 or an AK, which Malta and Dick Stacy would definitely be wanting to salvage as time permits. But it looks like the death squad of Chiefs has been assembled. They are at top mid and wanting to spread out towards the A-bomb site and looking to collapse on it. It looks like the go signal's been called, and Flicks in apartments wanting to look at Malta and gets him square in the mouth. So it could be the Q, but Dexter could be the X Factor. No, he will not. There will be a big X on his head though. And Chiefs do clean the bomb site. It wasn't clean by any means, but they did get it done. And now it's on to Grayhound to make a choice, and it looks like that choice has been made for them. Saving will be the call.
Well, it looks like Dick Stacy's going for a bit of a retake. He's putting in a little bit of pressure. It's not a bad idea based on the low HP on Moe and Flix. If he can do a little bit, they might be able to find something. The tough part is, though, in this setup, finding the opening shot. No, Sterling unscopes it, just the wrong opportunity. And with that, they're going to be running full tilt at him. Turns around, gets a shot on Moe. Now it is Dick Stacy finding that kill. Can he get in and on this bomb? Doesn't have a kit.
Sterling's got a kit, though? No, he's too far
away.
He's too far away. And that is the round done. And Chiefs, they keep marching forward. But look at the way things are for Grayhound. They're basically going to have to try and protect these investments. There is the Clarion dropped over the FAMAS. They're forced up. They're really wanting to prevent Chiefs from running away with this. And, well, to be fair, you can't really blame them.
Yeah, and, you know, Sterling has a great opportunity if he can connect a shot with this AWP. That gun alone is enough to turn the tides of a round. Unfortunately, it's going to be quick up B right now. They're grabbing a lot of banana control. Chiefs are. And that is where Dick Stacy is lying in wait with her cast. That's the pair of UMP sitting there. And Flix is sussing it out with the UMP of his own.
And there's Flix just running like a bat out of hell. Right through the smoke. And Infrequent Flix do claim too. Dick Stacy did get a scalp for himself. But the B-bomb side has been completely conquered by Chiefs. And yeah, there are 3 members of Grayhound up at the moment, but they are in no position to even try and retake this. It's just going to be a fight to survive.
Yeah, and the good thing is, with there only being 1 member of Chiefs to fall, that means Flix can throw away the UMP, recover the AK, and now there are all 4 that they brought into the round recovered, so good help for their economy. Texta can drop one over, or really anyone can drop a gun over to anyone, really. If it's needed, if another one falls here, they should have 2 guns. Yeah, Flix does go down. But really, that's more crucial for Grayhound in themselves, is the fact that they managed to recover that AK. Because their money's been bad so far.
Indeed, and if a CT economy can't get going, oh dear, poor Tux put that AK basically out of commission. It would have been such a valuable asset for Grayhound to carry over. Because, well, the less you have to buy, the better, and on a side where everything costs more, you definitely want to hang on to that. And now it's just going to be a pseudo full eco. You do see a couple of 5.7s and the armor that was carried over by Dexter. It should be a mere formality and just Sterling trying to be protected, but chunked very early on. Not what he would have wanted at all.
Sterling, the missed jump, or perhaps intentionally by Tux, just to scout out. And yeah, he's done the molly, forcing Sterling off that angle. No, someone's there, so they move back up Banana, where Dick Stacy and 2 other members of his team are waiting. They push through with the 5.7, and it's going to be 2 easy kills for Flix. That leaves 1 man on the site. Flix has him too. And now the B-bomb site is completely theirs for the taking, but they're wrapping back mid, just hunting for these kills. Sterling misses the shot. He's in all kinds of trouble. Missed another one. Should be short-lived here. We'll find Tux, but it's definitely worth their while to hunt this one out. Sterling getting another shot, though, making them question that perhaps a little bit. Where will these remaining 2 players hunting come from? Being expensive for Chiefs, but they've got the kill. No op on the field. And in fact, Infrequent will be hanging on to that one for himself.
If it's your weapon, I mean, why not? Chiefs really could afford to chase that one, because look at Moe. Even after the buy is on $5,700, and there's a couple of there are a couple of Chiefs members that are at 5,000 or more, so they'll be able to bankroll Chiefs for the next short while. But Grayhound, they really have to pull themselves out of a hole. They have bought into this, but it's less than ideal.
Yeah, the AWP definitely would have been a nice tool. However, Urcast in the forward position, doing a little bit of damage. Could have easily had 2 kills there. It's not quite right. And now these 2 players at the top of Banana are so hurt. Both of them half HP. They've done about the same back the other way. However, if you know both B players are weak, it'd be ideal to hit. However, they're moving up towards A, and Dexter might go through the smoke. flashed it. He is walking through it, and he finds the kill on Tomoe, and he gets infrequent too. That is the AWP down. It's just looking more and more like a round that Grayhound might be able to steal away.
Perhaps, but not if Tux has a thing to say about it. Did heavily tag one, being Sterling, and did end up taking out Okas, so now we are at a 3 versus 2. Now it's basically a 50-50 for Chiefs as to where to go. Dick Stacy is defending the B-bomb site and watching it from the coffins, and will get the better of the bomb carrier of Flix. And despite Texter taking Sterling off the table, a second round will be acquired for Grayhound, and probably would have wanted to carry that AWP over, but didn't end up doing it.
Well, I mean, if there is a bit of a bright side to losing that round, it does reset Grayhound's loss bonus. So if Chiefs manage to take another one here, we'll be able to really put the grind on Grayhound's economy. See, he already not in great spot because they do still have the FAMAS as the best that they can pull out for Malta. Over on the other side, though, Texta, he's also down to a CZ75, so not ideal for anybody.
We're going into a bit of a scrappy portion of this bout. Just cobbling things together. It's essentially a version of Robot Wars. You build something that is a absolute death machine out of whatever you can muster. And we'll see who has the superior creation in around number 9 of a potential 30.
I'm watching Tux. He's done a great job of opening things up. Now he's putting pressure over towards the A-bomb site. Not enough. Actually, it has been perfectly amount. They've pulled a rotate. I think Stacy's now thinking that might have been a mistake. So we will be entrenched in the B-bomb site, potentially, as these players are starting to work their way up. Chiefs have 4 up banana, and there's the spot out from Flix. We'll pull one through CT as the hit starts to come in earnest. Cyber Waste.
There it goes. Dick Stacy is actually on the cross. Did get flashed, and Urcast is right on top of the flower pot. Will sprout from the sidewalk. Will get 2 before hitting the deck. Sterling did end up getting rid of Moe CQ, and this hit is, well, partially there. The bomb is down, but infrequent is insanely low. But Dexter is off the battlefield for now. So now it is a 2 versus 2, but Chiefs, Stiff Breeze could actually knock them over if the Chiefs members aren't careful. It'll be all about positioning and timing, and Malta will get the better of infrequent. Now it's Flix versus Sterling, and Malta. Will Malta notice? Malta hadn't noticed! And right underneath the nose, Flix will snatch away that round for Chiefs Esports Club, and they lead 7-2 going into 10.
And if you look at this, he ends that on 3 HP. He was so hurt, so close to being around for Grayhound. But just as they go right over his head, he gets ripped apart, tearing down Grayhound Gaming and taking a 7th for Chiefs.
Golly. And this is far from ideal for Grayhound. You definitely would not have picked. They've been stumbling the entire time. It's a bit of a shame. It's like a dog that you get from a vet and isn't quite off of the medication yet that you get for a surgery. Maybe they'll get going a little later on when things hopefully turn up for them, but they're running out of chances to do so. But Malta got a cheeky frag into Texas, so that's a small thing, and a little bit of a flubbed climb into the balcony. But these 5-7s are really doing work. Dexter and Dick Stacy scratching up more of the kill counter, and now it's a 4 versus 2, and an AK recovered to boot.
Oh, I mean, this MAC-10 and the AK can still do a ton of work, but the thing is, Dexter having recovered one with armor is going to make this that much harder. The smoke, though, Dick Stacy seemed aware, and frequent peeks him, and he's not going to find that kill. The AK is there, and Dick Stacy gets that one too with a headshot. 2 AKs recovered. I don't think Urcast, nowhere near them, not able to recover one. But oh my, what a stolen round for Grayhound after they let one slip. Now we see a timeout coming in. I think quite wisely with the way that this has gone.
Definitely is the first avenue back into tightening the gap. Going to round number 11, Chiefs have rattled off quite a few, but looking at the money, it's finally cracked for Chiefs Esports Club, and Grayhound are really looking to pounce like the rabid dogs that they are. It's in their logo after all. And now the freeze time has expired, and Grayhound, although their economy is not great, they do have a full rifle setup. And pretty much all the utility you could have wanted, maybe a HE or two, would have been nice. But there are two. There are three, as a matter of fact. But more HEs, the more better. I'm just selfish now. Sorry. But
Well, you've always been the selfish one, Cyber Waste. We've gotten used to that. That nade. Oh, that looked like that was going to be pretty meaty. It actually did, I think, 3 damage total to Flicks. So the way it goes is Sterling taken up quite heavily. Will be taken up by Tux. These pistols trying to do exactly what was done to them. 3-4 recovered. And Dexter will be taken out with a combo of Text and Flicks. Oh, and a great headshot into Malta. It will go down to infrequent. And the CZs, they're working miracles here, Cyber Waste. Urcast burning down to 30. The Chiefs with the bomb down, they might be able to steal around after giving one away. And in fact, look at this. They're running away. They're saving.
they have no choice. Grayhound had invested so much into that round and thought it was a sure thing. And then basically a little death machine was summoned by Chiefs ESC with whatever they could find and just ran right over the defense that Grayhound had put up. And now Urcast and Dick Stacy will want to hang on to everything they've got because of how valuable it is. You see the AK, the armor, the M4, and the utility to boot. And yep, none of the Chiefs go down to the bomb either. Probably banking on a weapon being blown back by the explosion.
So, one thing I always like to point out is when there's something so small but so high IQ that you don't necessarily catch it. Texto was 12 HP, knew that Moe and Pitt didn't have a gun, wasn't able to recover one. So he throws his AK from balcony into Pitt, knowing that Moe will survive the explosion sitting in the corner, just in case he's actually not high enough HP to actually escape with the gun. Fortunately for him, he did live, but it's such a subtle little play that I love to see. And it's not something that I notice kind of enough of on this map, especially at lower levels.
That's a nice little detail, actually. It shows the cohesion of Chiefs Esports Club as a team. It's like, just in case, you might find a use for this. It's like dropping for your mates in a lot of other games where you hunt loot and things like that. Hunting the Borderlands and Pandora. And, well, speaking of hunting, that's what Grayhound would have really wanted to do in this map, but they haven't really had a chance to do so. But they are strayed like you wouldn't believe. Sterling can't buy anything because he still wants the orb. And Flick's got the bombing run. And a couple of HGs and then fell to the head of Dick Stacy. So that's an effective fragging tool right there. And hopefully a gun upgraded for either Dexter or Sterling in the near future.
Oh, I think Moe heard that, though. Yeah, he's spraying through. Well, done a little bit of damage as I recover the gun. But he knows that a couple players have pushed down Banana right now. It means that he is going to lead the hit towards the A bomb site. Avoiding that entirely. And Dexter! 5-7 in hand. The Miracle Cannon doing its work. Malta is going to get a kill with the Mag 7 as well. And it's a complete shredding from the Eco. Dexter with a 3K from the 5-7. And Grayhound finding ways to win rounds that they probably shouldn't. Now the $1 million question, as they're in a position here to, can they win a round that they should?
Ooh, yeah, that's actually quite the interesting thought, because we've seen Chiefs do a lot more with a lot less than what they have on offer right now. And Flix and Texter, you definitely wouldn't count them out at all. I know Texter's had a bit of a low-lying stat line at the moment, but it could definitely go off should the time arise. Chiefs are well and truly together, and yet again, the power pistols, they're really putting in work. They've done it over the last couple of rounds, and golly, he just got confused and just got absolutely collapsed upon. We are now at a 2 versus 2, and Grayhound could not be further apart to even try to retake this.
Yeah, this is... The good news for them is they can do it from a couple different angles. 2 versus 2 health's not ideal on the Chiefs player, but it's pretty good. And Aircast finds that first kill. Now it is just Tux 1 versus 2, sitting in Graveyard. He's slow moving up here, though. The timing on this is going to be so key. Do they expect him to be sitting here? I think Stacy's right outside the door. Cast unexpecting as well. And now the peek out gets him off of it. Will it be enough, though? The timing is going to be so key. I think Dick Stacy has this. He does. A clean retake from Grayhound Gaming, and they have a 5th round on the board.
And he'd be breathing a sigh of relief and saying, thank goodness for the defuse kit. That is a tip for those playing alone home. If you can afford it, buy a diffuse kit. It will be a hugely valuable asset. And Grayhound, it took a while. It took 13 rounds. We're going into 14 now, but they finally broke the bank of Chiefs Esports Club, and they could potentially see a 6th. And this is looking a lot brighter compared to the doom and gloom that they were in a few rounds ago.
Yeah, it does not feel like they are completely out of it now. There's still the Miracle Pistols. Less so, it's Glocks in a 50-50. But Malta, he's found the first kill. Something that really Grayhound haven't managed to do enough. Get that big opener. As they come waterfalling out balcony, Texta, single file, gives his life away as well. Dexter should be able to get the remaining 3 as they come out of the exit of Boiler. There's 2, and doesn't have enough for the 3rd. Flix will get him. 1 kill. Regardless, a much better, a much tighter round from Grayhound when it comes to dealing with pistols.
Indeed. And Grayhound as a squad would just be breathing a sigh of relief because it was not looking good in the early stanza, but they have recovered in a little bit of a grueling way. They've had to prove their mettle and scratch and claw for a lot of these rounds, but they have gotten there in the end. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. There's new dog treats in the bowl for them, and they are very, very happy dogs. And we go into the penultimate round of the first half, and it looks like Chiefs have assembled the squad and are rolling through like a tank. And Moe has started things off with authority, getting rid of Dick Stacy.
Ooh, Moe, a nice shot there onto Dexter as well. Infrequent finding 1 more. Leaves it a 2-man retake versus 4 members of Chiefs. We're all entrenched in the bomb site, and here's the tough part. Sterling's on the AWP, which is a little bit harder to retake sometimes. I know players in the library. That's Bowie. We'll find the opener. 3 left alive from Chiefs as Urcast starts to inch his way forward. Looking around the corners. He thinks there might be one in pit. Drops down the smoke. Spots out that head. Takes a little bit of damage through it. And Infrequent actually gets a kill before Flix finds the last one. Chiefs on 9. That's going to be the half. And I think they'll be thrilled with the way that first half has gone for them.
Indeed, it was a strong start and strong finish, and the middle stanza was definitely something to smile about as well. Greyhound did have some flashes of brilliance, do not get me wrong, but just on paper, purely from not even noticing the action in the server, if you were basing this off of metrics alone, you'd say Chiefs absolutely just trounced that half, and they'd be definitely looking to continue that one. As
the good news is, if you're a Greyhound fan, is that it was an 8-3 start for Chiefs that became a 9-6 half. So Greyhound, they've started to show a little bit more comfort. They started to get something rolling, something under their feet. But now, I mean, we have a bit more of an extended half right now as they are talking it over. You have to imagine Greyhound seeing how they can get right on their T side.
Yes, indeed. The restart's been called, and the second half will commence. Your attackers will now be Greyhound. Your defenders will now be Chiefs Esports Club. And the nades are a little bit more plentiful over the Greyhound side. Only 3 armored up, and your nade carriers will be Urcast and Dexter. And 3 members armored up for Chiefs. 1 carrying the kit being infrequent, and Flix carrying a HE and a bunch of nades. And well, Greyhound's really wasting no time, just doing a drive-by right onto Moe CQ. Urcast will open proceedings.
Well, the interesting question will be that pulls a rotate. Still keeping 2 on A, but Tux is getting a lot of information, and that's going to allow Texas to start to rotate before the 6 coming in. Inching their way up banana. B will be the site. Tux is gonna be so key. He's got so much information right now. He knows that it's not A. And because of how slow this hit's coming in, Texta is gonna be completely there. That means it's 3 men in the site. A lot harder for Grayhound to deal with as they set up the crossfires. Here they come though. Smoke going down around the corner. Smoke will be down for Infrequent to try and delay. They run through it. Flashbangs are good. They need to find these kills, though. So many players are blind right now, and it will be Grayhound finding the first 2. Leaves just Flicks in the site. Tux is on a fast flank, though. Smoke has blocked off time to allow him to come up, and Tux take it out. Flicks 1 versus 5. Health is low on a lot of players, and he gets the high health player. I'm not saying it's doable, but there's a chance for Flicks. What can he do?
Ooh, he will have to try and find the kit, kill all the players, and defuse the bomb. But Dick Stacy will say, no more advancing, and the pistol round will fall to Grayhound. Definitely something that they would have, that they really wanted to strive for. They did it with pretty much authority. They just ran right through whatever Chiefs defense, and it was a sound defensive setup on the B side, but it was too many dogs, and they just ran right through whatever they put up. And Chiefs aren't investing into this at all. They know that this is a formality, and they just want to get it out of the way. And Greyhound knows this too. They have a similar setup to the Chiefs in this situation. Instead of the back 10, we've gone with the UMP.
So here's the interesting one. Greyhound, they essentially were throwing the fake towards B, but all the players were A for Chiefs. I think they've decided that, you know what, we're just going to push B anyways. So it's worked out as the Chiefs firing squad is now carrying their way through mid. They are they're just on a carousel of an adventure here, going around and around the middle area. Now they've at least heard the confirmation that it will be bomb site, and Dexter is going to be the first man to peek. We'll find one. Can he find any more? Frequent's got the P2K, and not even going to peek that. It's weird.
But this is good discipline from Greyhound, just taking their time in case there was an ambush or a change of heart from Chiefs Esports Club, and just wanting to really double check everything and make sure that nobody was at risk. And now for Chiefs, you're in a bit of a peculiar spot as well. Sterling just drops on Infrequent. Did get dinked up though, so that is potential frag and weapon retrieval for Chiefs.
Well, Dick Stacy's found one kill. Will he expect Tux in the corner? No, they're actually going to be pinching into Moe. And yeah, Dick Stacy's now got 3 of them with the UMP. All the kills going the way of those SMGs, 600 apiece. So Dick Stacy coming out of that with $1,800 in the bank, which, well, that's nice.
Very nice. The more money, the more better. And it looks like Greyhound are wanting to stick to this. We still have the 4 UMPs and the singular AK against all M4s, but look at all those nades, and look at the way that the Chiefs are set up. There's 3 of them in the B site. Really expecting aggression out of the Greyhounds side in the early goings.
I like this from Greyhounds. It's a little bit more of a bonus round, and it really helps your economy if you win. This is touchdown! That was a huge nade onto Infrequent's head. They pre-naded that position, and he took 49 damage off of 1 singular HE.
Those things can hurt a lot, and shrapnel does not taste good. But to the Chiefs' benefit, they still have a full squad to hand, and 2 on each side and 1 floating around, that being no one's CT. And Chiefs are wanting to hold off the horde and doing a good job so far of Flicks and Infrequent. And it looks like the advance might be stunned momentarily. It'll be up to the rest of Greyhound to really come out swinging. And Malta and Sterling have done just that. And now the bomb site is now completely seized. The bomb is down, but Chiefs are really in a good position to retake this as they can now with only Sterling left standing.
1 versus 3 for Sterling. Flashed up completely white. Gonna be trying to buy himself a little bit of time. A couple low players, but it doesn't matter. Texta hits the headshot. It will be Chiefs stealing the bonus round, but again, decent damage done. 2 kills. That stunts the CT economy a little bit. And because they kept those UMPs, it's going to be a full buy here for Grayhound with quite literally whatever they could possibly want. They have the money for the AWP should they choose to do it. I think they'll be going 5 AKs. So Sterling's thinking about it. Yeah, no, he's got an AK.
Yeah, as I alluded to earlier, it's a little bit of a strange choice to go with AWP on the T side of Inferno. It's not unheard of, but more often than not, you would want to be just going with the AKs because there aren't that many places where AT can be effective with the AWP. Aside from like an opening pick down mid, and well, that's it. And that's only for 5 seconds, and it's not worth that heavy investment.
Tex is taking a bit of position in apps, trying to find some information, as are the remaining Chiefs players. But worth noting is I believe it was Flix had 16 kills at the half. Still on 16. See if he can step it up. About Infrequent falling back as he hears the Stampede coming towards him. Knows that 2 have gone through, so it is going to be a wrap on the A bomb site. Tex has gone down. Tux finds a pair of kills there. Well, fault. It was a little bit delayed on the kill feed to see that he got the second. As the GoTV is just being a touch choppy right now. However, 3 versus 3 retake coming in for Chiefs, and Infrequent peaks and eats a nade.
Definitely not ideal, and that could actually call the whole thing off, barring the Chiefs getting a huge kill. There's Molly to actually force out Dexter. I don't like fire, he says. Well, the Chiefs really do have to go. The last 2 members standing do have kits on them, and well, they're actually going to do it. Flix and Moe just biding their time, and that good use of utility shattered that defense and made that retake for Chiefs oh so easy, and that will get them to 11.
Crisp, clean retake there. I thought the player in pit was going to be much more of a nuisance, but it was a lovely headshot to open it up. Dinked them down, left them on 10, and it was just easy pickings from there. Very nicely done by Chiefs, and now with a timeout coming in, and the money not being amazing for Grayhound. Looks like they're going to be forcing up. Dick Stacy's on the Tech 9. CZ over on Urcast. I reckon we'll see a few more of those come out. They're going up against 4 rifles and Infrequent on his AWP. Hasn't been a huge hitter this game right now. He's 9 and 12. Text 8 and 14 are kind of the bottom 2 in the server. 10 for Moe. As we see everyone on Greyhound's broken double digits, with Dexter pacing the server on 19 kills. Let's see how high an impact the AWP can have for Infrequent. Nade stack coming down. Banana at least just 1, and that is meaty. Not a ton of damage to 1 singular player, but good damage across 4.
Well, they would have wanted more out of that one, though, but yeah, you'll take it. It'll make things easier for the M4s to do their business. Another thing Chiefs really have to worry about is just being run over by this tank, and well, Urcast has done 1 member of Chiefs going down to him. The rest of the machine is falling apart and members are going down, but the bomb is down. That is a good sign. A little bit of extra coin going into the next buy. You'd be happy with that, all things considered. And well, Dex has actually recovered got an AK on him now, and could actually be an X factor if he keeps up like that. And Malta actually has taken out Texter with the CZ. Now it is only Dexter left standing, and he stands no more. Infrequent will do the deed, and the bomb will be defused thanks to the kid of Moe. And 3K for him, but it did get rather hairy for Chiefs on that retake.
Yeah, well, Flix, I feel kind of bad for him. Me and him had something in common. We were both incredibly white, although his was courtesy of a flashbang, and he had a nice CZ follow up right into his face to open things up there. Great job by Grayhound to at least get that bomb down. Did a lot of damage. So for pistols, that's all you can really ask. And now they have full utility, full AKs coming right back into this one. Double up, setup Infrequent, and Moe picking them up. Infrequents into apps. Moe towards Banana, where there are a few Grayhound players looking to come through. Will they check Flix behind sandbags? Flashbang's good. Dick Stacy falls. Can he get more? Flix does find a second and a lot of damage to a third. Texta will grab 2 as well, and now Urcast is on 12 HP.
And that is the Chiefs basically putting up a stop sign on Banana, like, don't come here. Do not come here. Turn back. Only peril lies ahead, and now it's only Urcast and has no HP. Golly. He's just basically delaying the inevitable, unless he does a Herculean effort. 12 HP against 400, Graham. Do you like his chances?
Nope. Not at all. Especially not when he's standing and moving absolutely nowhere. He wants to hang on to it. And that's the right call, because with 2 ops, it's a little bit harder for Chiefs to go hunting.
They can't really afford to.
They can't really afford it on the guys that can, yeah.
Yeah, like look at their economic standing. Only 2 that are alive are in. They're in triple digits. Like, you do not want that as a CT. You can afford to buy a lot more in terms of utility, though, with the weaponry that you carry over. And Infrequent and Moe actually have AWPs now. So, could be a scary, scary proposition for Grayhound going forward, because they will have to deal with both of those.
And while he hangs on to that gun, if you are just tuning in, this is the first map of the ESEA MDL Season 29 Australian Finals. It is Chiefs versus Grayhound. I, of course, am Graham Dreamboat Morrison. You can give me a follow on Twitter at DreamboatCasts. Joined by Justin Cyberwaste Lutz. You can give him a follow at I Am Cyberwaste. And of course, we are representing CappingTV. So we are into the 22nd round here. 13-8 is the score. Chiefs looking quite good, to be honest with you, at this point in the game. Can they pull it out, though, Cyberwaste?
And at this juncture, Chiefs definitely do have the momentum on their side. They do have the guns as well. But the people I would be watching would be Malta, Urcast, and Dexter, as a matter of fact, to try and keep the Chiefs humble. But if they kind of flub about and don't really do so, and Chiefs win around in a dominating fashion, is going to go from hard to even harder for Grayhound to get a swing back into this.
Well, the hit looks to be coming in towards the A bomb site. Texta is there with 2 other players. He's got Infrequent backing up his arch side. Tux in pit. Tux has done a lot of good damage. And looks like Grayhound... Oh, no, they are going to commit to it. Infrequent timing on this is going to be so key. They come out. Flashbang gets the first shot onto Nick Stacy. Will he repeat this? They're close to him. Oh, the flashbang pulls them off, and that allows them to fall back to site. They are being pressured from all sides right now. What can these 3 players do? And it looks like they're going through arches. Flex is lying in wait as Texta gets the kill onto Malta.
Sterling wanting to wrap around onto Flix. Almost got it, but just missed it. And Flix will end up getting finished off by Dexter. So that is a singular frag. They will definitely want more, and Moe is saying, no, sit down, and we'll take 2 to the grave. And now 14 for Chiefs. They're 2 away from winning the opening map of this best of 3 set. Well, you can't really fault them. They haven't done anything out of the ordinary to give them a bit of a handicap. They've been good from start to finish.
And worth noting, if you are a Chiefs fan, and if you're a Grayhound fan and you're starting to panic, you don't necessarily need to. This is Chiefs' pick. This is the map that they'd hope to win. No need to panic yet. It is a best of 3. Still got 2 more maps in this series, at least potentially 2. That said, Chiefs 2 rounds away from closing out the first map, sending us over to Dust 2.
And that is a classic reborn. I'm really looking forward to that. I always had a soft spot for Dust too. See, Grayhound are really wanting to move in, but Chiefs are more than equipped to deal with other Tux and Flicks have claimed for 2. And Dexter has given a reply. Couple more good frags, and they have a bomb side to Grayhound, but Infrequent is trying to stop that. But look at that!
Oh, Malta was wise. Texta was just sitting in that smoke, and I thought surely he was going to get a huge kill there. Instead, it leaves Moe CQ in a 1 versus 2. Sterling and Malta are his opponents. There's the AWP on Sterling that's entrenched in the bomb site. Made into Graveyard. Expect that Molly has an idea of earmarking it for Pit. Malta, of course, wisely repositioning. Moe, that's about it for him. He's going to go up into App, see if he can... No, he's running away and saving. I thought he might be able to do a little bit of damage. But instead, he's conceding the round, hanging on to the AWP, and Grayhound have a 9th round in this game.
It's definitely not over yet, and that AWP on the back of Sterling will be a huge commodity. Although, yes, it's less common on the T side, it's still an AWP on the field, and something that can do that much damage is definitely something to fear. And, well, Chiefs are not letting go of this double AWP setup. Moe and Infrequent are giving it another go, and it's extremely expensive to do so. They have cleaned out everything to get this buy. But to be fair, it is in a penultimate round, and, well, it's worked before. It's going to work again. That's what they're hoping, at least.
That is a thought process. I'm not sure it's the right one, but we'll find out as this round starts to delve on. Stacy, very cautious of sandbags, and that's the beauty of that little play. You pull it out once, find a kill. He's going to be a lot more wary of it, and because of that, remaining players on Grayhound sitting a little bit further back, and Tux managed to find a nice kill going through Apps. So a good opener for Chiefs. Man advantage.
Indeed, definitely. Perhaps wanting to force Greyhound's hand early. If the Chiefs do take another member out, that will pretty much give Greyhound fewer avenues of choice because, well, they can't really do that much with limited manpower. The Greyhound does have time on their side, and if they're patient, they can basically break down into a bomb site should they so desire. It looks like the Greyhound members are gathering around Banana and wanting to take this B side, but they do have 2 formidable foes waiting for them deep in its trenches.
Well, Moe with a nice opener onto Dick Stacy as the hit comes in, finds a second shot. Will he find a third? Misses a shot, but he's got Flicks backing him up. Moe will fall. Sterling left alive. 50 HP. Just gonna get that one onto Flicks as well, but Texta, he puts Chiefs on map point.
Big boy doing big boy things. Well, if you're Greyhound, you would have to be sweating bullets. You don't have a lot to really contribute in terms of economy. Look at it. You only have 3 CZs, limited utility, but 2 AKs. They're really going to have to sing a symphony of destruction or it will be map over for Greyhound.
Well, and we do know that the Chiefs players have an appetite for destruction. See if he can dance with Mr. Brownstone, find those kills. Take them to the Paradise City as Infrequent hits the first stop shot onto Dick Stacy. Will be the opener. There's the second one onto Sterling. This is looking a lot more promising. Chiefs, just 3 kills remain for them. Make that 2 kills as Infrequent. Of course, he's got another one. 2 left alive for Greyhound. They have recovered a rifle. That means that Dexter's got the AK, Malta, and M4. Rotating back to the B-bomb site where Moe will lie in wait with the AWP, assuming he gets there in time. Smoke's going down. Hit coming through. Another shot. There's Moe. It is now just Dexter. 1 versus 4. AK in hand. Eats a flashbang. Trying to stick this bomb plant down. Will they let it go? Moe's going to peek out now. Can he find the shot? Oh, there's a nice one tap. Sprays through the smoke. Cyberwaste 1 versus 3. Does he have it in him?
You'll have to pull everything together. Infrequent coming in through the church as the scope up, primed, ready to fire. Whips the shot, but Textar will bail out Infrequent, and that will be all the Greyhounds put down. And Inferno will go to Chiefs.
And what a doozy of a first map. And I'll be honest with you, like, if you asked me going into the series, I think we talked about it off air. We fully expected that it was going to be a 2-0 for Greyhound. So really well done by Chiefs, swinging hard, coming out and stealing a first map that I think even Sassy, our analyst, when he was on, said it was going to be a 2-0.
Indeed, and they had they had every right to think like that because Greyhound's on a good shave of momentum. They played really well last night. They put on a great show yesterday and definitely have the pedigree in them, but Chiefs are definitely not being sold short, and they basically led it from start to finish.
Well, with one hell of a first map in the book, that means that we are going through to Dust 2. That will be just on the other side of a short break. I have been Graham Dreamboat Morrison, joined by Justin Cyberwaste Alutes here for CappingTV. That was map 1 going to Chiefs in this best of 3 between them and Grayhound for the ESEA Season 29 MDL Grand Finals. See you on the other.
Welcome back to the Mountain Dew League. That was a very short break, by the way. We're at the analyst desk. I've got beside me Sassy. How are you going, Sassy?
Not too bad. That was a pretty interesting map. But how are you?
Yeah, good. We don't have a lot of time to talk because the second map is very close to start. So we're going to quickly go through the scores. Things I can see just straight off the bat. Texter, he got 25 frags from that. Yeah, huge stuff from him. Infrequent with the AWP. Lots of stuff.
Definitely there, and I think, as I said before, like I thought it was going to be a 2-0 unless they took this map. And for me, them taking Inferno makes it really interesting because if it goes to Nuke, I feel like that's a really good map for Chiefs. They have normally had a lot of their success against Greyhounds on this map, but I know the last time they did play each other, like it was, I think it went in favor of Greyhound and it was pretty convincing, but generally, Chiefs are a pretty good Nuke team.
Yeah, well, looking forward here. Let's go to Dust 2. We're talking about that. This is Greyhound's pick? Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Greyhound has been very good at this map. They've won 7 maps, and Chiefs have only won 4 maps that they've played on this map. So, yeah, I don't know their positions and stuff. I haven't seen them play on it before, but I think Greyhound definitely have something up their sleeve here. So it may go to the 3rd map.
Sure. The only thing that I think Chiefs can have a bit of an advantage here is that obviously Dust 2 can be controlled a lot by the AWP, and I feel like, Infrequent, obviously doing a lot of work with that AWP on Inferno, but, Greyhound without Gratisfaction, maybe that might be an effect, but I'm sure they picked this map with a plan going into it. Obviously, they've had a roster change, things are going to be shaken up a little bit, and I feel like Dust 2, it's a really good map, pretty basic, but it's a strong, basic teamwork map, if that makes sense. So it's going to be interesting to see what Greyhound are coming into this map with.
Exactly. Now, I'm just looking around for some stats here.
But yeah, definitely, obviously Dexter standing out 25 and 20.
Well, with that being said, we're going to head straight into the second map. Take it away, Cyberwest and Dreamboat.
Thank you very much, Mitch and Cersei. As they did say, this is the ESEA Mountain Dew League Season 29 Grand Finals for the giant island of Australia. My name is Justin Lutz, aka Cyberwaste, and my co-caster is Mr. Graham Morrison, aka Dreamboat. Well, he was known as that. Not so much anymore. The dream is over. And your defenders for the second map of Dust 2 will be Greyhound Gaming, and your attackers will be Chiefs Early Sports Club, who will want to close out this series, Graham.
That indeed, Chiefs. They don't want to see it go to our 3rd and final map. They want it all done, all right now. They are on your T side. They are positioning themselves outside B. Looks like they might be going down to lower in Urcast. He's expecting this, looking to greet them. He's got 2 players actually on Cat, and Urcast finds the first headshot onto Texta. Can he find any more? Not able to do so yet. And it looks like these players from Chiefs going out mid after that pressure, but Flicks with a nice shot will remove Urcast as the pinch towards B is in. Dexter could be caught indoors. He's got to be falling back to sight now. Malta and Dexter both there. They need to find these shots. Dexter unable to do so as Infrequent gets 2 on the entrance. B-side has fallen, and now it is just Dick Stacy who is dinked up. And Sterling left on this retake.
And it is the toughest retake you could have asked for in any instance, but especially with a pistol round where one of your members is tagged. That is the member with the armor, that being Dick Stacy. And they want no part of this. They are wanting to survive, and it looks like Grayhound are not giving the Chiefs any quarters and any chance to get any extra money. And it looks like one of the members has made note of this and is already on the run to take one of the Grayhound members out. Flicks, do you cross paths with Dick Stacy? They may cross like ships in the night, and bang, executioner style. Flicks will go, but Sterling also went out. So Dick Stacy was the only Grayhound that survived. But Chiefs get one better. They get around the
right. I'm going to call Dick Stacy out for a mistake there. And I get why he didn't do it. However, what he could have done was completely offset the fact that he was going to lose armor and then some if instead of going for the kill, he went for the knife. He had a player completely staring the other way, standing right in front of him. It would have been so easy to get that point-blank knife. He didn't do it. A little bit let down because of that. And now, push coming up mid right now. It looks like a lot of these players are going to be caught out from Grayhound. Tux with the Galil grabbing 3. Because he is for real. Malta, though, did manage to recover a Galil off of Texta.
The real deal Galil. Maybe that's where you were going with that. Only one casualty for Chiefs, and well, that's negligible in the grand scheme of things. You're still happy with it. You would have rather those frags come from the SMGs, but well, it's not a big deal. Just the rounds matter a lot, especially on Dust 2. And now Grayhound, you do have a chance to offer a rebuttal, and there is nothing but M4s on the board. It looks like they're running up bedroom and towards long are the members of Chiefs.
And unfortunately, there's a bit of a stutter to the Go TV. There's nothing that we can do on a production end to make it any smoother. It is what it is, unfortunately, as Chiefs running up on the A bomb site. They're going to be quite able to plant here. Be relatively for free, but there's 4 players very close for this retake. Smoke's coming in to try and delay them. And Dexter, that was a nice shot onto the planter. He's actually going to find another one off of that boost. And Dick Stacy grabbing a 3rd. Now it's just Flicks and Texta. Flicks, though, very far down long, the only one there. Texta finds 1, but now it's a 1 versus 4. What can Flicks do? What kind of heroics does this man have in him? What is he made of?
The bomb is
trying to defuse.
Bomb's planted for him, but now Flicks is made of nothing but shrapnel and bullets. And Grayhound survived with 4, and that is about as good as you could have asked for. And you could basically bank that round on Dexter there, that boost. That was a huge part of what made that retake possible. Just basically cracking the bomb planter and the person at Goose.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit sad, too. It's a fairly common boost. It's a fairly common move, especially when the smokes are down like they were. So I'm a little bit surprised that Chiefs wasn't looking for that, and they lost the round because of it.
Perhaps lack of familiarity with this new version of Dust 2. Or maybe it just slipped their mind, who knows. But either way, Dick Stacy and Pitt will rattle Texter down and out, starting things off with authority over the members of Grayhound. And well, Chiefs, they do have the luxury of time, but well, not a whole lot else. A couple of members are boosted up by Blue, trying to offer a reply. But well, Dick Stacy and Sterling are saying, no, stop that. And now it's only a matter of time. Infrequent does have the AWP and does get 1 before being traded out. So now it's only Tux versus now 3. Did eat a nade and then he eats a bullet. That is the end of that. 3 survive for Grayhound, and we are tied at 2 after 4.
Yeah, and I mean, this is like that's a sad part for Chiefs, and one thing that you'll have to be thrilled to hear with Grayhound, or for Grayhound if you are a fan, is that Chiefs, they played a lot of maps. They've only played Dust 2 4 times in the last 3 months, and they have 0 wins on it. over 4 in those 4 games. So this is not going to be the map that you're expecting Chiefs to win. You're expecting this to go the distance, expecting it to go to Nuke, where they have a much nicer win rate and play it a lot more.
You never know. Chiefs could have brushed up a little bit in that time. As you said, it was 3 months. That just based on numbers alone, you would give this very safely to Grayhound. But well, that's only part of the story. The rest of the story is what happened to the server. And what happened to the server was a ton of lead flown and a ton of deleted Chiefs. And Grayhound take the lead, and they barely took any casualties. There was only the one. And well, given how things are going, you wouldn't be hitting the panic button at all.
Well, we need to see some big play from the Opper Moe CQ right now to see if there can be a big opener. He went out long. Wasn't able to find that shot, though. If he'd taken off Sterling, that would have been a huge pick. He'll be throwing it back to the actual Opper, which is infrequent. He just had the spawn for long. We'll see if he can make that big green gun sing. Although, do we really call it the big green gun anymore? Is it like, what if the skin isn't green that much? Like this one's...
Yeah, that
like the big like steely gray one.
That really annoys me. The fact that you can't really call it the big green gun anymore because almost all of them have skins, which are beautiful. Don't get me wrong, but it just fluffs with the call out because well, you'd be called a liar, and that's not cool. Dick Stacy having a day. He's claimed to Sterling with a HE nade will get rid of Moe, and well, this is just falling apart in a split second for Chiefs, and now it's only Flicks and Tux versus an entire herd of angry dogs. And they don't really have any sort of map control. Well, they do have control, sure, but a lot of the sight lines that are being held by Grayhound effectively cut those off and make that control kind of moot.
We'll see how they elect to make this hit. Tux and Flicks both up on Cat right now. Aircast sitting in that site. He's got Sterling with the AWP backing him up from Car. Oh, I thought he was going to fire a shot through there. Aircast flashed up, but Sterling hits the first one. Now it's just Tux 1 versus 3, and Aircast finds that kill. 4th round for Grayhound. And Zodiac Drake makes a good point in chat saying that it's always going to be the big green gun. That makes me think, because I still call the SG-553 the Krieg, even though it's not called that in this game. So I think he's right. It will always be the big green gun, Cyber Waste. And Sterling had a nice shot with it to open it up. I
feel vindicated after that. Thank you very much. And we've sung his praises on multiple occasions, Sterling and the AWP, and how much damage he could do. And Moe running with reckless abandon down mid will meet his demise from said Orpa, and another scalp will be claimed by Sterling. So there's 2 for him. And well, in the blink of an eye, it is now Texter versus everyone on the CT side, and either
Scott Texter versus the world,
and the world conquered for now. Aircast will leave the footnote on that one, and Grayhound will keep that momentum going. Which after the opening map of Inferno, they so graciously did.
Well, that's kind of fitting, too, that it was him versus the world, and the non-Australian or New Zealander in the server managed to get that kill. It's funny how things work out that way, as we have a long rush coming in, at least a lot of pressure coming out. Dick Stacy finding the first one, give him a second one, too. Texted quite hurt. And it will be Sterling with the op to rip that one away. Chiefs, solid effort to try and go flying out long. And, well, the only thing that went flying out long were corpses, so...
Indeed. And now Chiefs are really going to have to try and battle this back. Does get Urcast out of the picture with a minimal damage taken, all things considered. So Chiefs are really wanting to use the buddy system, but Dexter's in the site and will get rid of that friend in Tux. And now Flicks versus 3, and the bomb's actually down at the little cubby hole, and Dexter was aware of that and waited for his time to strike. And that'll be the end of that. And Grayhound is just keeping the streak going, and Chiefs, they haven't really haven't really found their footing at all or found their groove on this map, and it really shows in the plans of attack and how predictable that they've been. That Grayhound has basically quashed everything that they've thrown at him, and Sterling, again, ruling along with an iron fist, getting rid of Flicks.
Oh, and there's so close. Dick Stacy may have heard that gun swap actually infrequent. They did. They both heard each other, I think, trying to swap guns out. And instead, it will be Tux running down mid, finding that kill. Stacy falling off, not able to find one. So now Malta in the sight, though, peeks out, finds a spray through 1-2 from window. Well, we will rip his head off. That's his first kill of the map. Now Dexter's there. Dick Stacy coming in behind and infrequent all alone with an AWP. Finds the first shot. No one's in the sight. Timing on this will be key. Will he be able to recover a gun? Flashbang's good, though, and Dick Stacy has the kill. 7th round for Grayhound as they are rolling on their map pick. Texta 1-0-9. Moe 1-1-7. That is not what you want to see.
And definitely not what you'd expect from players like that. Moe's been a traveling nomad of the Australian scene for quite some time. And we definitely know what he's capable of. And Texas, well, an up-and-comer that's come up over the last year or so, definitely made his marker on that one, but hasn't really sung a good tune thus far. Hopefully it'll look up for them, but Dexter will just rip right through these T-sided players. Yeah, there isn't much armor on the table. There was only one, and Flix did end up getting the reply to Dexter, but that's negligible at this point. And Sterling did get dinked, but will end up getting a 3-kill in the round for him. Not really worth that much because you only get a minute amount of money compared to the regular kill bonus for an AWP, but it feels good, and the gun is so satisfying to shoot with the sound that it makes. And well, Sterling's been making beautiful music with that weapon.
We'll see if Infrequent can do anything to match him. He's top on his team, tied with Tux at 6-0-8. Nobody on Chiefs is positive, and Sterling has another big one there on to Texta. Malta getting one on to Flix as well. All of the openings going Greyhound's way. There's nothing Chiefs can do. They seem to be at a loss. And honestly, a little impressive that they grabbed 2 rounds. It was the pistol and the follow-up. So it has been a run of 8 straight for Greyhound. Completely taking control of this map.
And despite the AWP player still had flashed away, minimal, just no damage at all to really worry about. Just being forced off of his position. But now the 3 members of Chiefs are gathered out and moving up towards Cap, but they will have to just wrench this iron defense away from the site. Urcast is nowhere near that Molotov, so that's a non-factor now. And now it's go time for the Chiefs players. Can they crack this, or will Greyhound keep their train rolling? And it looks good thus far. There was 2 exchanged, but now it's a 3 versus 2. And looking at the HP of Bowie, you would not want to be in his shoes. You were barely breathing, but you were still standing. Not anymore. Dexter will give him his marching orders, and Dick Stacy will cap that off. The bomb was planted, granted, but at this point, you're going into round number 12. You don't need to thin out the economy even more for Greyhound because it is bursting at the seams. Dick Stacy is on 16k before the buy. Just damage you could do to Greyhound is not worth it anymore. You need rounds, and Chiefs
Malta's on
really need to get in.
Malta is $300 away from having all the money in the world. He's not even fragging that hard. He's just 5-3. He's died 3 times, as has Dick Stacy. That's how they are so high up in the money. And again, this is a map that Chiefs don't really play. They've only played it 4 times in the past 3 months. It's also a map that they didn't win in any of those 4 times. So it's not something they expected in this best-of-3 series. They're just looking to kind of keep some momentum. Nuke is where the series truly will be decided, as it feels like it's going to be a foregone conclusion at this point. The Greyhound pull it out. Chiefs, though, they can always work some miracles. These are good players with a good aim.
Indeed. And we've seen that demonstrated time and again. It looks like the members of Chiefs are wanting to assemble the old buddy system on Short and Cat, and well, Sterling's definitely caught wind of one with Moe firing some warning shots, and Malta will fall at the hands of Flicks. So Chiefs having the advantage early on for the first time in what feels like, well, since those first 2 rounds that they accrued.
Question is, though, how do they wrench Sterling out of this long position? It will be the drop down. Tex not able to find that kill. Aircast getting one onto Texta. And Sterling with the third. Now it's Flixton and Frequent. Frequent's gonna walk right into the crosshairs. Finds the kill, though. Keeps the man advantage. But now it's just him as Flix was in mid. Bomb not in a great spot for him. Does he expect the player along? Just so awkward. No one is obliging him with a peek. He might find Aircast. In fact, he will. Dexter peeks out, gets the kill, and Grayhound gets a little hairy there for them, but they still close out the round.
And even then, you wouldn't really be too worried anyway. Look at all the money. You brought up the point early on, but it needs to be repeated. Only one member is below 10 grand, and that being Aircast. And at this point, it doesn't matter. And Chiefs need to get rounds now. A 10-5 is the best they can hope for. And from the looks of things, the members of Chiefs are hanging around upper dark and biding their time and looking at their options, and now waiting for the rest of the Chiefs. So we're still in T-spawn, and now the bomb moving towards the backyard and then upper dark for whatever the Chiefs potentially want to do. It looks like Tux might want to be the tip of the spear in this potential A attack, but Dexter will spray text it down through the smoke, so that tip has been blunted for now. And well, Chiefs, they can't catch a break.
When it rains, it appears to pour. 10 straight rounds for Grayhound. And the question that I have is that a streak that's going to stop at any point? Are we just going to see a straight 16-round run for Grayhound? Chiefs, they just don't have an answer. They don't have an entrance. They don't have... they're being shut down everywhere. They try long. Dick Stacy just rolls through them. He's 13-3. They head towards mid. Dexter, 16-4. Sterling with the op, 14-5. There's no answer, but there's an entry, and that's something. It's an inch. Can they take it and make it an opening?
But
Running up long. Sterling spotted out, though.
Tux did give a lot for that. Look at him. He's on 4 HP, but Flix will get rid of Sterling. That is a huge piece to take out of the defense, but Malta and Aircast reply back quite sternly. But Infrequent has done a good deed, has put the bomb down and taken out 2 big Dexter and Aircast, and now it is Malta versus Infrequent. And Malta will strong arm Infrequent and stop the rain, and the run continues for Grayhound.
Man, oh man. Grayhound currently all playing together as well, if I'm not mistaken, just solely based on the ping. I believe they were at a LAN earlier, and they all have 28 ping, so I reckon that they're probably in New Zealand all playing together. Or sorry, that's Chiefs all together. Grayhound all off the board, so they're not at LAN. They're not all in New Zealand.
They're all around the same vicinity though, so perhaps that is a point of contention. But Tux will finally get rid of Dick Stacy. This is the second man in bind, but hopefully they can capitalize on this one. But Sterling catching an ear of the traces through the smoke. Did not get rid of Flex, but did do a lot of damage. But now Tux has claimed another one, and Malta tried to strong arm the attack on the bomb site. And actually, Sterling tried to hop onto the box and got firebombed away. And finally, the run is snapped. Chiefs get a third on the board and survive with 4. But Graham Morrison,
the streak is over.
The streak is over, sure, but is it too late for Chiefs? Can they battle back? I know it's possible, but do you like the odds?
It's definitely doable, but we need to see some of their players step up a little bit. They still don't have anyone positive. We need to see some consistent fragging, and it looks like they've done some good damage onto Dick Stacy. They need to convert this. There it is, a big opener. Urcast instantly with the trade through, and he gets a second. And that's the problem. There's been so many, not just a trade back, but there's been a 2K. They take down one and more. Keep it rolling, Grayhound. They keep the man advantage. And like it's situations like that that Chiefs need to start doing. They can't drop the man advantage that quickly once they take it.
No, and especially with Sterling being, well, a metaphorical turret, that AWP been absolutely running roughshod on the opponents in Chiefs Esports Club, and Malta sneaking through the smoke will get rid of Moe and Infrequent, and he will be the final casualty of the first half. 12-3 in favor of Grayhound, and well, they were absolutely dominant. And well, if you were to equate them to any type of dog, it's basically one of those, you basically call it a Cerberus, but instead of having 3 heads, it has 5 heads, and its bite hurts, and hurts a lot.
Yeah, you need to get your best Greek mythology expert here to find a way to tame the Cerberus, make it calm down, whether you just get a rubber ball and give it a chew toy or something else to mess with. Because at this point, Chiefs, they are that rubber ball. They are the chew toy, and they are being chomped on for fun by Grayhound.
This round has so much weight, this opening pistol. If Chiefs get it, it's a lifeline. If Grayhound gets it, it is their chance to basically grind them into the dirt and basically confirm that we will go to a third map. And so 3 members are gathering at Upper Dark, and the first exchange has already taken place, and Sterling's got the better of that one. And Moz has contributed as well, and it's so far a clean ledger. And Dick Stacy, the change inside, yeah, that didn't change jack and squat. He's got 3 to himself, and is continuing an absolute mammoth run at 16-6 after 15 rounds. That's a frag round and some change.
That's like, and here's the hard part too, is 4 Chiefs players got killed immediately. They saw a bunch of players from Grayhound. They did about a combined 40 damage, 10 damage per life. Isn't gonna win you anything. It was only a good shot in at the end to Dick Stacy that was the damage in that round. And really, it's just the case. Chiefs players are seeing players and not doing enough damage at all. Yeah, they'll get one onto Sterling. It's a UMP going hunting for a little bit of money. Bombs down. Dick Stacy with the AK. Yeah, he's got Moe. This is so easy right now for Grayhound. They're on complete and utter cruise control.
Yep, they're riding the slipstream all the way. And yeah, only 1 casualty, but they just cruised right into the B side like it was nobody's business. Set up shop, put the bomb down, put the kettle on, and it was all done. They could basically kick their feet up after that. Now, Chiefs, judging from the buy, Moe's got a glass cannon with AWP, and Frequent does have the scout to hand as well, so it's basically now or never. And the members of Chiefs are basically throwing everything in, and this Grayhound bus is running all the way through to the B side. Do only claim 1, but Dick Stacy has actually claimed a second, and that nade could be meaty on the side of Chiefs ESC. The bomb is down. This site is hard to retake. Chiefs, you basically have to do this to stay alive. Muster all your power.
Yeah, this is the do or die moment. Texter with a good opener onto Dexter. Gives them a window. They have a smoke on Flix as well. That's going to go in, and Texas got the kill onto Sterling. And Advantage finds another kill. It's just Dick Stacy right now. 1 versus 2. He will not get that kill. Flix on 6 HP will start to defuse. Time's ticking away, but I believe he has time for it. Nice and easy. That will be a 4th round for Chiefs.
That's 10 now, the gap, and well, they'll be breathing a sigh of relief. A 3K for Texter, and he basically single-handedly bought their lifeline into that site and well into the match.
It's a 3K for him. He's on 6 kills. Like, that's the problem right now for Chiefs. He doubled his kills. We're in the 18th. That was the 18th round, Cyberwaste. You can't be doubling your kills in the 18th round in a single round. That's the problem. The players on Chiefs are just not finding kills. They need to keep it going. Moe's got 6. Flix is 8. They're most players, and Frequent and Tux at 10. The worst player on Grayhound is Urcast at 11.
That is not an ideal scenario, but hopefully the start of a positive thing for Chiefs Esports Club and perhaps better days ahead in terms of their fragging initiatives. Now, Greyhound, they know that they have the room to play with. Their utility's a little bit lacking, but they know that they have the aim to combat with everyone. Like, you look at Dick Stacey, he's having a day. Malta has just added one more. He's on 14 now by getting rid of Texter. And we were just saying it's been a rough time for him, and he's bottoming out the server at a now 6 and 17. Not something that you would want from Chiefs. And
well, this is the really scary part if you're a Chiefs fan right now, because you're not seeing even any like kill potential from your team right now. That scares you going into Nuke. Infrequent will get the opener onto Urcast. Tuxo, so key here. Oh man, peeks up. Not able to get that kill. He pulls off at the wrong moment. Only gets one onto Dick Stacey, but it's even then, little things like that. Chiefs had the opportunity to find the kill. It was all up for him there. He just needed to spray through a little bit more. And he didn't even, like, he stopped spraying thinking he'd done it. And if Chiefs, they're not fragging at all going into Nuke, this could be a dominant series end for Greyhound. There's a big opener, Infrequent with the off. He's found a nice stat there. Sterling in trouble. Only will get him. Those two men finally connecting on some shots. 5 rounds now for Chiefs, but this, like I said, this has to scare you with Nuke our next round.
Perhaps, or it is a new opportunity, perhaps a new day for the Chiefs. And, well, we've seen this a lot in Counter-Strike in the games that we've cast, Graham. Like, they'd have a strong defending side or a strong attacking side, and then the change happens, and they get a couple of rounds, and then they go stone dead. I've seen that happen. Maybe that is a thing in the future for Greyhound. We know what they're capable of, the side of Greyhound, but perhaps that is a possibility, and Chiefs do end up rallying back, and, well, they don't have a lot of chances, though. This is basically going to have to be the run for the side of Chiefs. And while Dexter with the backstabbers forced the B site to be given over to Greyhound, and if this bomb goes down, it's a huge pad as well. And Sterling with the M4 could be a crucial weapon. Now, a 2 versus 4 with 2 defenders. Sterling will actually get rid of Infrequent. That is huge. And Tex is actually quite low. Sterling's the only man left.
And finally, some good fragging coming out. Moe stepping it up, Flick's finding a couple as well. They'll recover a pair of AWPs. That gives Chiefs a small window. This is, I mean, it's doable. 10 straight rounds. I don't like their chances. They lost a lot of players there to pistols.
Graham.
But really, all I'm looking for at this point, Cyberwaste, before you get me on, all I'm looking for at this point is some fragging so that they can have some confidence going into Nuke.
True. And do you remember what Greyhound did to Chiefs earlier? That is what the Chiefs want to do to Greyhound. And hopefully come out with a win. And, well, although it has been tighter compared to how some of the rounds went when Chiefs were attacking as opposed to being on the defense, it's possible that the same situation can occur. But now Greyhound, they do have the best chance to get their way in terms of utility and weaponry. And actually, Dexter hadn't just caught Tux completely unawares and left him completely red-faced and upper dark. So that is embarrassing for the defense, and now the B-side's completely seized thanks to Dexter. Basically called the boys over to say, yeah, the party's fine, the water's good, the bomb is now down, and, well, Chiefs are going to have to hop to it. With, yeah, they do have the kit, and now the firepower. But, oh, golly, this could be panic mode set again.
And they have a couple kills to open it up. The Stacey and Dexter are low. When the retake starts to come forth, they can absolutely make this work. They just need to find kills, and they've waited so long. They need to move a little bit faster here. And in fact, it's going to be Urcast to find one, make that a second one for him. And now it is just Moe CQ standing in the doorway. He gets a kill, but taken out. It is map point for Grayhound, trying to force our way to nuke. Looks like we're surely going to get there. But again, Chiefs, this is what I'm saying. You need a little bit of confidence building. They've done a decent job getting a couple kills, giving them a little bit of confidence. That's all you want at this point. All you can ask for. It's a lot. It's almost impossible to ask for 9 straight rounds here to go to overtime, especially when you're on pistols. Just the confidence building frags are what you need as we are live into what could be the last round of Dust.
And well, Chiefs, you got to make good with what you've got. But it's going to be a rough uphill climb, even to force extras.
Well, there's a good flash and a push through. Did a little bit of damage. Actually did no damage to this T player. Oh, and the spray through has done so much. Flix is on 2. He's got the CZ75 in hand. Might be enough infrequent scout. Can you tag these players as they come up? Cat looks like it will be an A hit for Grayhound.
And only a matter of time before the hit comes to fruition. And Flix actually has his back turned to this hit, but will be relying on sound cues and some assistance from Infrequent, who will have his eyes up and his brain splattered all over the floor by Dick Stacy, and Flix will follow suit. And now it is only 3 members of Chiefs versus a full pack of rabid Grayhound terrorists. And, well, Chiefs, you're really going to have to hop to it, but Dexter is in lower dark, trying to cut off a rotation. Does get rid of Moe CQ before Tux replies to him, and Dick Stacy will continue his role and get rid of Texas. And now it's Tux versus 4, and that'll be the end of that. Dick Stacy running right over Chiefs ESC to cap it off, and Mr. Morrison, we are going to nuke.
A walk-off 4K from Dick Stacy, and he was an absolute monster. He and Dexter had so many kills. I think it was 25 in the end for Dick Stacy, 23 for Dexter. The two of them had every answer. Long, that was not an option on the T side for Chiefs to try and walk out. They couldn't do it. Dick Stacy was there shutting them down every step of the way, ramming big sprays of bullets straight through their foreheads. There was no answer, no chance. He was an absolute monster, and it's a good sign. He didn't have the greatest game on Inferno, and if he can carry this form into Nuke, that could be scary and dire. That was the Dick Stacy I haven't seen in the last couple days. He was on fire.
Indeed, him and Infrequent basically just put up a giant stop sign, an electric fence, and everything else you could have thought of to deter anyone from stepping into an area. Just the positioning in pit was so strong for Dick Stacy, and he took advantage of it time after time after time. And, well, the Chiefs had no chance, and it really put them on the back foot after the change. And, well, it's reflected in the story, in the scoreline, too.
Well, with 2 maps in the book, it's been a good showing for Chiefs on Inferno. It's been a fabulous showing from Grayhound on D2. That leaves Nuke as our final decider in this best of 3. This is the ESEA Season 29 Australian Mountain Dew League Grand Finals between Grayhound and Chiefs. I, of course, have been Graham Dreamboat Morrison. You can give me a follow on Twitter at DreamboatCasts. You can also give my co-caster, Justin Cyberwaste Lutz, a follow on Twitter at IamCyberwaste. Of course, we are at CappingTV. We're going to be kicking to a quick break. We'll come back to our analyst desk before we hit Nuke. Ladies and gentlemen, I, of course, am Dreamboat, once again, joined by Cyberwaste. We are over here now with our good friend Sassy for the analyst desk, where we're going to be breaking things down. Sassy, what did you see on Dust, and what do you expect for Nuke?
Well, Dust 2, like, I think one thing to note is that Grayhound, you know, definitely long wasn't an option for Chiefs. And I felt like even when they'd lose long control, they'd even be able to retake it, which is something that you don't necessarily see all the time as well. Just showed their sheer dominance there, and I felt like, Chiefs really didn't have any control of the map. They weren't able to do anything they really wanted to do, and definitely it's going to be interesting to see if Chiefs can really pick themselves back up, compose themselves, and really come back on Nuke.
And I mean, it's such a tough spot. Saber, like, how, if you're in that spot that Chiefs are in right now, you just got absolutely dismantled. You're not even really hitting your shots. How do you build your confidence back up? How do you get ready for Nuke? Like, how do you prep for that after that stressful map?
Perhaps just a law of averages. You just basically say, well, it's not our strongest suit. We basically had to play on this map because of the process of elimination and the way that the vetoes shook out. So maybe they're on the side of, the map of Dust 2 might not be all that strong for us, but we'll try the basics. If the basics don't work, don't worry about it, and we'll go to a map that we are strong on. And Chiefs have proven in the past they are extremely strong on Nuke.
Yeah, you literally just said everything I was going to say there. Like, I felt like Chiefs were going into that with like maybe more puggy strats, or trying to play a bit aggressive, like see what works here and there. And at the end of the day, they've got Nuke to fall back on now, which obviously is a really good map for them. Historically, they've done really well against Greyhounds. Yes, the most recent time they played them, they did get dismantled, but that's a once-off, and I think we're set up for a really good map. But as long as Chiefs can compose themselves and get off to that good start, if Greyhounds start off like get the pistol, get the first gun run or so, I feel like they'll run away with the momentum, because I feel like it's definitely in their favor now.
And now coming off of yesterday where Greyhound, I mean, I don't know if you happen to catch that game, Sassy, but me and Saber were casting it between Tainted on this map. It was an absolute haranguing. Tainted has zero chance. They got absolutely annihilated. Greyhound looked phenomenal. Sassy, like, I mean, give me a prediction here. Do you think that Chiefs take this map, or do you think it is Greyhounds all the way?
I mean, yesterday I was obviously casting the other game with Chiefs and Paradox, and they were winning. Don't correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was 13-2 on the T side of Nuke, which, I mean, obviously Nuke being a very CT sided map, that's pretty amazing. So we do know Chiefs, they do have the capability, they do have the plans and the firepower to be able to dismantle a team like that, but this is a different beast in itself. I reckon this is going to be a close game.
All right, give me a winner. Give me a winner right now.
Greyhounds. 16.
I will be a contrarian and just say the Chiefs, but either way, I am expecting a great contest.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you have all been waiting for is here. The final map of this best of 3. It's the knife round. Chiefs won that, meaning they get to decide which side they want to start out on. And that means we should have one hell of a game right now, Cyberwaste. We are into it. The pistol round. Actually, wait. Are we in? We are in. Okay. I had a quick delay on. There we go. Everything is right now. I got a little bit too excited. I prematurely blew my hype. Now there's the green text. That's what we're waiting for. Now we are here, Cyberwaste. It will be Greyhound on your T side, Chiefs on the counter-terrorists, with the opportunity to start out on the strong foot, start out right here. What will it be? Will it be Greyhound or Chiefs punching their ticket through to LAN?
And definitely going to be a strong contest. This is one hell of a battleground to finish this set. Both of these teams have very strong Nuke play, and well, strong enough still. Just in the blink of an eye, the Greyhound contingent have infiltrated the bottom bomb site. The bomb is now down. And well, Greyhound's members are actually caught in position to cut off a couple of rotators. And that is what happens to Infrequent. He will die at the hands of Dexter. Dexter is starting as he means to go on. He was one of the heavy hitters of the previous map. And so was Dick Stacy. He will put the bookend on that one, and Grayhound with authority will take the opening pistol, and that is starting green as you would have liked for Grayhound.
Oh my, what a start. Huge opening pick, and the fact that they got that bomb down so unbelievably fast boded well for Grayhound. Now they have 3 AKs, a couple UMPs, and it will be the full save, of course, for Chiefs. You can buy M4s into the 3rd round with that recent money rework for pistol round, but they've got no one really towards ramp, and that's where everyone on Greyhound's going. They've read this beautifully. I don't know if this is a set thing that Chiefs do regularly, but if it is, Greyhound know everything. They are on the B bomb site. Bomb will go down for free. No one's there to stop them.
Sterling got a little bit punked on where the bomb site starts and ends, but that's okay. Only a little bit of time lost there, and that's just negligible. And looks like Chiefs want no part of this, and just want to stick together and lose as little as possible, and also prevent those UMPs from getting any extra money into the economy of Greyhound. And Texter looking towards Secret, and we'll get one, and Dexter would have relayed, yeah, there is a bro pile in Secret, and that got promptly wiped out by Urcast on top of Silo. And now there is only one left. That's Flix, counting the digits until his demise is called. And Sterling will get the final frag and 2nd round for Greyhound, and only losing 1. You've got to be happy with how this is starting out.
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately for Chiefs, it was the ump player that they dropped instead of one of the players with the AK. If they managed to steal an AK away, even if it just forced the rebuy, wasn't able to be recovered, it would have been nice damage to the economy. Instead, it's 4 AKs right now for Greyhound, and Sterling keeping the UMP, going up against M4s, and they're plowing outside right now. Gotten all the way towards Secret. Dexter, though, with a great opening shot. Dexter through Squeaky Door will trade that one out.
And all this just fast pace. It's basically Greyhound's basically just turbocharged. They're just running right through these sides, and now on the lower bomb site. Flix is in a very strong position if the members of Greyhound do not check this, and Sterling and Urcast will actually fall to that gentleman named Flix. So that is a strong position put to good use. And Dick Stacy is stronger still, does reply with 2. And
that's huge.
Yes, indeed, it is huge. But the bomb is down in the middle of the site, and Flix and Moe have eyes on it like a hawk. They're going to know when the bomb's picked up and where to go next.
Well, 2-on-2, bomb down. Stacy, Dexter, what can they do? What are they made of here, Cyberwaste? What is their miracle play? Did he spot out ahead? Oh, I think Dick Stacy knows. He does, and he finds Moe. That means it's just Flix, the man of the hour, Mr. 2K. Can he turn it into a 4K clutch? 20 seconds left on the clock. They have no idea where he is, and that's what works to his advantage. Here's them clumping around. Sees the flashbang comes in at his feet. Spraying through, finds one. Will he live? No, it's going to be Dexter to grab that Greyhound. Coming so very close to losing it, but they make it a 3rd round, winning the first 5.
But it did get extremely tight for the side of Chiefs Esports Club and Greyhound too. It got into a really tough back and forth affair. So Greyhound will be happy they can keep this.
Well, it's the Miracle Pistols. Again, 2 CZs, a Deeg, to P250. Can they make them sing? I initially thought that Infrequent had a P250 as well, and then I realized that the smaller image is actually the P2K. It's because that's good adventure on pistols. Look quite similar, to be fair. P250 just a little bit shorter. But they're looking to see what damage they can do. They've tagged Malta. That's really all that they managed to find. Will they find any more? They still have an HE on Moe. Might be able to do something of note with that. But really good play of Greyhound right now. They're being quite diligent, being very slow. Not wanting to get caught off by any of these pistols. Realizing the economy is probably not great right now from Chiefs. Flicks here at ramp is going to be the point of contact. Will he find one? No! Dick Stacy gets the headshot. Down towards B they go, and they got the triple drop vents out of Chiefs. Will they do anything to stunt these players? Can they deny anything? 40 seconds left on the clock. And Texta with the D has his head ripped away. Oh, he's going to pick it up. Molly is quite good onto him. And oh, the spray through the door. Dick Stacy. Does he have Word.exe installed or something? Spraying through the wall, spraying through the door does a lot to Moe, and now it's him and Infrequent. They're both on the B bomb site, but here's the problem. Grayhound, they called an audible. They went back to A. Now, no kills yet. All they want is one. That's all Chiefs are looking for, just to do some damage. Frequent only has the P2K. I'm not sure what they'll be able to find.
They're pushing in here. They're going downstairs. Let's see.
Now, just sitting around. Just, you know, they have Moe sitting down vents right now. Frequent over by Secret. Not
There's
going
no
to push
lot
out.
to do
Trying to
here.
bait a player in here.
Here we go.
Not gonna happen. Urcast will claim the last two combatants, and the flawless run continues for Grayhound, and well, minimal damage done in the grand scheme of things, and you'd definitely be happy with the way things are going thus far. And now the side of Chiefs can buy in again and try to stop this run and break the goose egg and make things a little bit more competitive. Although this is considered less CT-sided than it used to be in its old iterations, you'd still give it to the CTs, but by a much smaller margin.
And the player I've got my eyes on this round is Dick Stacy. He's 7-1 right now. Most of those headshots as well. He has been an absolute monster. I will be boosting a player up right outside, trying to find a pick. Will anyone oblige with the peek? It doesn't look like anyone's around, so it will not come to fruition. But oh, the smoke fades! They tried to go down Secret, it faded. Texta though missed his shot, got flashed up. Still a lot of information gained, and Infrequent is sitting at the bottom of Secret right now. If they go down, they're walking into his crosshair. If you are just tuning in, this is the third map of the best of three. The decider, the grand finals of the ESEA MDL, and Moe with a nice shot will open things up, removing Dick Stacy, something that hasn't happened thus far.
Moe and another member of Chiefs are extremely close outside. That being Urcast. Well, they actually cross streams, and Dexter does get rid of Texter, and Urcast got the better of Moe, who was tucked in to that red position. It's actually a 2 versus 2 now, but you definitely give it to the Chiefs now because they got rid of Urcast, who was the high HP player, and now it's only Dexter in a 1 versus 2 now, 1 versus 1 now. On the A site, the bomb is now down, and Infrequent has to make a choice. And he chooses to get hit by Dexter. And in the most improbable of ways, Grayhound keep their streak alive.
That was such a nutty shot. I mean, Infrequent, I give him credit for trying to come, like, swing out hard. See if you can catch it before that smoke blooms and allow him to buy time to move around. But man, oh man, what a headshot there. And what a 1v2 from Dexter. A huge clutch and a huge round for Grayhound. Money not great for Chiefs, so it is a FAMAS for Infrequent. Low utility. FAMAS on Texta as well. However, Tux has once again found Dick Stacy, and that's an opener.
Dick Stacy's been essentially nullified, and given his run on the previous map, that's definitely been a high priority. The Chiefs definitely aren't going quietly either. They've actually taken down 3 members of Grayhound to the 1, who is Infrequent, who is no longer a part of this round. Now it is a 2 versus 4, and the A side looks to be the port of call, and Moe from Heaven has basically stunted Malta and chunked up Sterling quite a bit. So now it is 17 HP versus a lot more on the side of Chiefs, and that is an orb on his back though. So Texter found out the hard way, you do not cross an AWP.
Good confidence moment there, at least to get a kill. Doubles his total from the map. He's been straggling a little bit behind. But a big first round for Chiefs. Well, they need to see if they continue to find ways to slow down the heavy hitters on Grayhound. Dexter is 7-3. Dick Stacy 7-3. Urcast 10-3. Carrying the banner. Sterling and Malta at 2-3 and 1-3 respectively. A little bit slower starters. Frequent also on 0 kills. We'll see if he can get that going in the 7th round. He does at least have 2 assists, so he's not going to become a certain member of Her Majesty's Secret Service.
No. Actually, an underrated movie in that franchise on Her Majesty's Secret Service. Well, Grayhound have a chance to actually break the economy of the Chiefs and reset their loss bonus, which is going to hurt quite a bit looking at how much the Chiefs have had to dig in to muster this buy, which is a good buy, all things considered. A couple members outside, and this positioning of the number 4 man of Moe could actually be huge, but Malta has forced Infrequent to heed and is out of the round. This position of Moe, keep an eye on it. It could be pivotal, depending on where Grayhound go next.
Health is bad on a few of those Grayhound players. That means that they are 1 shot from the M4. You know, they'll be expecting Malta to have some form of an entry. Or actually, they're going down lower. They're going down towards B. Maybe they're calling an audible. They're playing it a lot slower. Moe is lying in wait, but I think Malta has found some information. But Flicks with the kill, getting him in the back. Did not expect them to be there. Now, with Grayhound swarming the bomb site, that's where the hit's coming in. Texter grabbing 1. Will he find another? You better believe it. Will be traded out quickly. And now it is just Tux. He's got 1. Bombs down. He finds the second one. And a huge kill there. Huge steal. Chiefs grab 2.
And that is definitely the shot in the arm that the Chiefs would have won. A huge 2K for Tux to get the second on the board. And, well, Grayhound, it started off well, but now's the time you have to say, well, we're going to have to cop 1. And judging from their buy, that's what they're doing. They're just wanting to stack up some of the bodies and make things a little bit more honest in the Chiefs' ledger in terms of money. Keep an eye on the Deagle at least.
That they rush. Oh, and spotted out by Flex, but he takes some damage, tosses a nade over. That was pretty meaty as well. Manages to find a kill, grabbing a second, will fall in the end. As the players are on beat. Texta is down there though, finds another kill. Buying a little bit more time, delaying that bomb plant, hoping his rotates can come in. Sterling will have to drop pretty much towards his face. If he wants to plant the bomb, can no longer plant on the top of the silo. So it will be the molly coming in. Bomb will go down, and Malta actually getting the deagle shot through the door. However, these kills safely gone the way of Chiefs, but a huge bomb plant nonetheless, and good damage done. Any kill does stunt Chiefs' economy.
Indeed, and well, getting the bomb down as well. In a really unlikely scenario, you'd be taking that every day of the week. But only downside to that, though, the round was given up. The gap is now 2. We go into round number 9 with another full buy. So now Grayhound have a chance to keep that lead alive and a little bit more extended. But there are full AKs across the board on the Terror side, and on the CT side, Infrequent has his toy, his baby, his AWP. We'll have to wait and see how that is put into the grand puzzle that is the Chiefs Esports Club defense. Actually, Infrequent moving up towards Secret, and they're definitely aware of it, and Molly's gone in his direction and has been forced to retreat. So good utility usage from Grayhound, just making sure that things go as smoothly as they can for an attack.
Be quiet, Cyber Waste Cat. You don't need to hear the jingling. They are going towards ramp. Dexter getting the first shot onto Flicks. Was through a molly, so he took some fire damage. Good damage on out. 2 of those players half health. Will they find any more kills? Slowly moved around. There's a player below heaven. 2 players are up in heaven. And that would be an interesting pick should they manage to find it. Ramp control right now for Grayhound. They've got 40 seconds left on the clock, so time for them to decide where they want to go, but they are inching their way towards B. Texas found a kill. I didn't see where that one lied. It was on A, so now he's moving down fence. An infrequent looking the wrong way, gets shot in the back. Jig is up. They know it's going to be B. Texto, what can he do? Will he check to his right? No, he's going to swing out. Not able to deny the plant either. And now 2-man advantage right now. Tux and Moe trying for this retake. Dick Stacy. His position should be well known by Tux this time. We'll find one. Dexter gets that out, though. It's all Moe, 1 versus 3, Cyberwaste.
And Moe might just basically abandon ship and try to hightail it. And judging from his position, he's trying to do it. Yeah, he's hightail up to the top level. He's on the A-bomb site and running as far as he can towards the terrorist spawn. And Malta just play with his food. What are you doing, mate? And that'll bring Grayhound up to 6. Moe will survive, and well, Grayhound are in no position to engage with that one. So that will be a survivor there, but we are in 3 and 6 territory. 3 for the Chiefs, 6 for Grayhound, and now round number 10 is in our horizon. Well, the Chiefs, they decide to buy in, but it's going to be scattered at best. Look at their utility and weaponry.
And you also need to hit the panic button right now on Infrequent. He is normally a heavy hitter for Chiefs, normally a very strong player. He's 0, 3, and 8 right now. 3 assists, sure, but no kills. It's a little bit too late in the first map for that to be the case. See if he can rectify the situation perhaps here. He's got the FAMAS. He is playing outside, and that's where a lot of players are positioned right now for Grayhound. Has Tex to backing him up. So if he sprays through the smoke, it'll be some good damage, but he's just a bit behind as they are down secret. Frequent will move to potentially greet them there.
Keep an eye on Flex. He's not moving from the stairs position and is about to be greeted by a ton of Greyhound members. Did spot one of the heads, and that will be that. Malta will say, nah, we're not going to let you live. And Texter will not be able to either. So they will take care of that. And, well, basically the side of Greyhound are free to move as they choose in terms of the lower bomb site. It's completely empty, but in the foyer, Dexter will go down, and that is a gun retrieved.
Wait, did you call it a foyer?
Yes. Is that an issue?
Isn't it pronounced foyer?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's pronounced foyer.
Foyer? Foyer? I'd say
I have never heard it called a foyer.
It's tomato, dude.
Thing. It might be a Canadian thing. Maybe all Canadians say foyer.
Yeah, it might be the French influence from that really odd part of Canada. Why do I say odd? There's nothing odd about it. Nothing odd about it, Montreal. Not at all. Either way, 3 survive for Chiefs, 4 survive for Greyhound, and well, Greyhound are 1 away from winning out the half, and well, you were saying that this could have been the Chiefs' way back into this, but looking at the current state of affairs, that opportunity is slowly passing them by, and Greyhound could actually shut the door in their face if they're not careful.
Well, we'll see if the AWP on Sterling will rip a couple heads off. He is looking towards the outside, but it's going to be Tux to find the first kill, immediately traded back by Dick Stacy. Flick's now pushing through Adventurous towards Radio. He's going to be posting up, waiting to see if anyone walks by. That save meant that they can comfortably buy into this one. But we'll see if they can make it work. Even are the mans at the moment. 4 versus 4 situation. Very patient right now from Greyhound. Very far back in towards lobby. Flicks might catch a player out here. There is one moving towards him. If he could pick up the AK, do a ton of them. It is Dick Stacy, the low HP player. Will be caught out. Will he be able to recover this gun? Does, in fact, get it. So that is massive. And now Texta coming in with a huge 2K. It's just Urcast 1 versus 4. He's coming in through Mini. Will be on the A-bomb site. Can he find kills. Can he find the bomb? He's down, and he gets potted out by having Infrequent with its first kill of the map. Comes in the 11th round, and a big kill that is, shutting down the 1 versus 4. 4th round for Chiefs, and that is huge. Money's not great for Grayhound. They'll be able to buy into this one, but one more win for Chiefs will reset them.
And now Chiefs are going to have to grab onto this opportunity and wring it for all that it is worth. Because if they bottom out now, it is only going to be harder moving forward for Chiefs to get back into this map and this series, because it's been basically a tale of two sort of one-sided affairs, and hopefully this will be a neutral ground in every sense of the word. And Flix came close to getting rid of Urcast, but Urcast will stand tall for that one. It take just over half HP for that one, though. So, should the Chiefs capitalize on that, it'll be a even kill, but a lot of damage exchanged and damage done to Tux to make him cease. And Sterling has gotten rid of Texer, despite a reply with Urcast being deleted from the fray. It's 4 versus 2 in favor of Grayhound. And, well, Infrequent does have his toy, but he doesn't have the KD to really back it up. And he needs that confidence. He needs to show off and go huge. And it looks like Grayhound are not giving him any opportunity to be a threat in any angle. And that'll be on to Moe getting rid of Dexter. So now a 3 versus 2. And 30 seconds, Dreamboat.
And the bomb is making its way towards B. Both of the remaining CT players are up on the A bomb site. I think Moe has heard that. He'll be able to call that it will be a B hit. They both have kits, so if they like their chances, they can go for it. It looks like, yeah, Infrequent's running towards spawn. It will once again be a save for Chiefs. Just trying to hang on to this weaponry, seeing how they can do it. But Grayhound, they look so confident, so decisive. They are in the driver's seat now, clinching the half. Chiefs not out of it whatsoever. Doesn't look good.
No, not at all. And it looks like Grayhound are trying to clear the area as opposed to going for a hunt, because neither team's economy is looking all that great. If Malta can actually find Infrequent, actually might have found the head of Moe, but choosing not to engage, and neither is Moe to that extent. So a half-winning predicament for Grayhound. They are now at 8. So that is good, but more halves would be better. And a guest appearance from my cat Angela ringing the bells, saying that there is a half-winning predicament.
Well, for whom the bell tolls was Grayhound Gaming. They have that lead comfortably. This is a key round right now. Neither team have a lot of money. A win here will do wonders for Chiefs. A win here for Grayhound will reset Chiefs. And now with a big opening pick, Texta taken down quite low, but they have the man advantage. Will be traded out quickly, though, by Dexter. And Grayhound, they have been such a good job every single time. They lose that man advantage, they even it up so quickly. Lightning fast trades, and they're looking on point because of it.
Indeed, and looks like the side of Grayhound have really put the pedal down and really trying to take command of at least outside and trying to wrap around. But Moe's in a strong position behind the blue crate near the garage, and actually got rid of Urcast. And that trade, yet again, you were highlighting it, and Dick Stacy will prove that point by getting rid of Tux. Sterling will stop Moe's CQ contributing anymore, and the A side is cleared. The bomb just punched in by Dick Stacy. And yes, he's only on 9 HP, but he's contributed quite a bit, and now it's on Infrequent and Flix to make their choice. It looks like Infrequent's wanting no part of it. He's wanting to hang on to the AWP for all it's worth.
Yeah, the number of times that Chiefs have saved is so high. They just don't even have the confidence to go into a 2 versus 3. 3 versus 3. They're not even taking the chance on these seemingly even fights. Because of that, Grayhound will take 9. You start to worry that all these calls to save may result in the game starting to slip a little bit away.
But it could be
9 rounds.
Yes, indeed. 9 and a potential 10 looking at the current state of things for Chiefs. And they know that it's last chance saloon, so they're throwing everything they can into the pot. And note infrequent. He hasn't had a good day of it. He's only 1, 3, and 8. But if there was any chance to sing out and say, yeah, I'm still here, and do it with authority with that AWP, now would be the time for him to do it. And Grayhound, well, they could just keep doing their thing until Chiefs tell them to stop. Maybe this is the round where that happens.
Well, we've seen the CZ do miraculous things. Tux has it in hand, and Tex has got the first kill. Tux, can he find more? No, he gets his head straight removed from it. Stacy in trouble, though. Texter will get him as well. Coming up the vents right now. Moe might have some pressure. Will he be able to find a kill? In fact, he will get 1K. Turn around, finds the second one. Dexter now, 1 versus 3. Finds 2 kills. Makes it a third. It's down to the 1v1. Flicks trying to come in. Knows where he is. Dexter will he win it? He's picked up, and Flicks winning it in a huge round, in a huge 1 versus 1. That would have been an ace for Dexter had he had it in him. But instead, Chiefs grab a much-needed 5th.
And they could breathe. The evil is dead. Dexter was on an absolute terror run, and as you mentioned, on the cusp of an ace, but sadly took too much damage in the 1 versus 1's opening engagement and just ended up depleting through the wall. And that is the breath of life that Chiefs sorely needed, because they were slowly slipping out. But now it is their first vote of confidence, I'm sure, in quite a while, and now a full-on rifle fight. M4s versus AKs, and Dexter right underneath the smoke will get rid of Dexter. And Chiefs, they are not in a position to safely reply, and Dexter actually snuck into the A site proper, has taken out 2, and Malta's gotten rid of Infrequent, who's still not having a good time on this map. Now a 5 versus 2, the bomb is down the upper bomb site. And, well, Chiefs don't have a choice, but, oof, this is going to be a rough trial for them to go through, but Flix is starting it off on the right foot.
Well, and he did start it out, but Moe immediately fell. Flix will find 1 in a 1 versus 3, 13 HP. I don't like his chances. Knows Dexter's right there, and Dexter, the man of the hour, once again, had a 4K. Before, had another 4K. Now, it's 8 kills in the last 2 rounds as he is on absolute fire. We have the half change come in, but a 10-round T-side from Grayhound is absolutely beautiful. And they are, of course, the winner of this final will go to the MDL Global Challenge, to the LAN between all the winners of the MDL leagues. We'll see if they can hold their medal here. Cyber Waste, will it be Grayhound going through, or do Chiefs have a miracle T-side in them?
We know that it's possible, seeing how Chiefs have performed on this map before. They have a stellar record. But up against Grayhound, and after a T-side like the one that Grayhound just had, it's going to be a tall order, but it looks like the Smokes have come out to block off the run to secret, and, well, just like ninjas, the side of Chiefs just run right through, and Okas in the vents, it's cracked his head like a grape. Flicks goodbye, good night. Actually claimed a second before he was deleted by Infrequent. Okas with 2. And Infrequent's actually moving forward, popped open the door, and has moved onto the side proper, and ended up taking down Dick Stacy. So now a 3 versus 2, now a 3 versus 1. Tux, what do you have for us to see?
Well, the tough part is he's got no armor, so it's even harder in this 1 versus 3. USPs do so much to the body, and he's down to 4 HP. I don't like his chances, and Sterling from behind will just rip his head off. That's the problem with that strat call from Chiefs, is they called it with a lot of utility, good smokes, good mollies, but that left Flix being the only person with armor. A few of those kills came in. I mean, there was a nice headshot from Urcast, but the shots to the body did so much damage. They got absolutely shredded and decimated. And with that, Grayhound They have the money, they have the control, they have an 11th round, and surely here they'll have a 12th as well.
Yeah, no pistols at all to speak of, just Glocks. It's just going to be the G17 drain. And Malta, Sterling, and Urcast all being contributing factors. Just going through the movie, going through the motions, and now only Moe quickly gotten rid of a 3k for Sterling. Yes, they were eco frags, but it's good for the ego. And it's good for the bottom line. So now the first gun round is coming in, and also it should be noted Dexter is 22-9. He is having a lights out performance. That's not selling the rest of Grayhound short either. Yeah, sure, Malta's on 6 kills, but he's figuring, hey, if Dexter's gonna do all the work, I don't need to.
Yeah, Malta, I'm sure will be fine with 6 and 9 as Dexter gets another 2k. 24 and 9 now. Have yourself a map, Dexter. Leave some kills for the rest of us. Jeez. On the other side, though, Infrequent, who I highlighted 11 rounds, not even having a kill. He's on 4 and 12 right now. Disappointing from him. Tux at 9 and 4. Moe 9 and 11. Not ideal whatsoever. Urcast, though, outside. He's got another kill onto Moe. He had the UMP. Swaps over to a recovered AK. Frequent on 5 HP. Flix is with him. Don't like their odds here. 2 versus 4. Flix is full.
You're gonna have to play the meat shield, I feel. Perhaps with the full HP player lead the charge, and then Infrequent will come in to change, but Urcast is too wise to that. We'll get rid of Flix now. It's only 5 HP on Infrequent versus 4. And yeah, he does have the bomb on his back, but not a whole lot else in terms of actual living power. Utility, sure, but up against 4 people, you'd have to basically segregate them all into 1 versus 1s. And well, that's a good start, but Dexter will avenge Dick Stacy and keep his run going as at 25 and 9 now as Grayhound grab number 13 and put it on the board.
Yeah, now here's the $1 million question. 5 kills, potentially as few as 3 rounds. Does Dexter drop a 30 bomb? And if he does he do it with less than 10 deaths? You need 5 kills without dying. That's his challenge. I wonder which will come first. It is pistols for Chiefs right now. Good nade coming in, doing a bit of damage. Tucks and Flicks down a little bit. Malta took one the other way. Dexter looks like he's going to rotate and support Dick Stacy over by ramp. Feels that it might be a ramp push. Has an inkling.
That's a bit of a hunch, perhaps. Well, Chiefs play extremely slow. A couple of the members are near T-spawn, and some of the Chiefs members are actually electing to sort of feel their way around. And Urcast reacting to Squeaky being pulled open has fired some warning shots to keep Chiefs at their place. And yeah, they're all together, but it might not mean all that much. And Infrequent did actually claim 1, but Sterling and Dexter will be a tandem effort. Claim 2, Sterling gets the flick onto Moe CQ, and now Tux versus 3. And if you can segregate this into a batch of duels, it can be done, as demonstrated by getting the frag on the Sterling, but cannot finish the job on Malta. The Clarion will claim that one. And 14 now. And Graham Morrison, the time for Chiefs. It's running out, and that's another warning bell.
That might be ringing hell's bells. I think a famous band out of a certain region that we're casting happened to have a song about that. And we'll see if Chiefs will be sent to hell, vanished, sent to the Shadow Realm, and removed from the server, or if they can mount any form of a comeback here. 14-5, Grayhound are absolutely rolling, and Dexter again, you know, got another kill in that round, did a lot of damage, was key player. Dick Stacy as well, having a nice call and a good set of kills in ramp. Drops the molly in, spots out more players. Dick Stacy sprays through, does damage to the first one, pulls out the USP. He's going to start falling down the ramp now. We can't reload. Just bought him so much time to fall away.
And also a good time to flank Urcast coming in from the foyer towards Radio. Actually gotten rid of Tux and actually forced the Infrequent and the rest of the Chiefs to change their trajectory. And that could actually be wise. Malta has gone to the floor and popped out of the vent like a jack-in-the-box. Dexter will get rid of Moe before being traded out. And now, Chiefs are in a bit of a winning position, a 2 versus 2, but the bomb is now down. And, well, barring any heroics from the player in heaven, this could be a new lease on life for the Chiefs. And now that said person is no more, Dexter will give him that.
Money's not great for 3 out of 5 Grayhound players, so Dick Stacy actually needs to hang on to this gun. Urcast, I think, will be able to drop one. Malta's going to be able to drop one as well. So yeah, I mean, if Dick Stacy can stay alive, Grayhound can buy into this next round. If he doesn't, then they have to think about saving. But a good damage there. Picks off Infrequent. Texta will be trying to come at him. Oh, Texta!
Sit down! Right through the garage door. Obviously making good play off of that last frag, and then getting the hint he was low enough. Right through the door, and that'll be that. No save, and Grayhound are still elected to buy into this, but still, that situation, that nightmare situation that you were alluding to, it actually happened. This buy is a little bit shaky. Hopefully those...
P250 on Dick Stacy and 4 M4s. There's also a Deagle on Sterling should he need it. Which is questionable. You'd think you'd at least have the Deagle. But no, I see. They're boosting the P250 up in ramp. And it's also not an ideal buy for Chiefs, funnily enough. It's 4 AKs and a UMP. No one's happy. This is such a key round. No, neither team have money left. There's a little bit more on Chiefs, but it's not good. Their loss bonus is being reset. Lose this round, they're already on 15 anyways, so it's not particularly ideal. Grayhound, yeah, they've got the round lead, but lose this round, they can't buy. So this is so pivotal for both teams.
Indeed, and it's a round of basically paper clips and blue tack. Just get together whatever you can and make the best of it. And, well, Grayhound are definitely going to want to make the best of this situation, and looks like the Chiefs members are getting set up to rain some nades in for a take. We'll see if the Grayhound members will be in position to either hold off a retake or prevent the bomb from going down entirely. And the gas has been pushed down. Malta, Dexter, Flix, and Moe keeping the ledges square, and Texta and Moe are thinning out the Grayhound attack, and now it is Dick Stacy versus 2. The position's strong, and now it's a 1 versus 1 between Moe and Dick Stacy for the match point, and Moe got digged! Time is of the essence, just stay alive, Dick, and it's match point! That'll be that! The P250 will silence Moe and his life, and match, map, series, and land ticket point for Grayhound, and Chiefs will have to be utterly devastated after that.
The miracle of the fact that Dick Stacy had the P250 at the start of the round. He recovered a gun, yes, but he didn't have time to reload his M4. He reloads his M4 there, he's dead. That is a round for Chiefs. Pulls out the P250, and the little bit of added firepower behind him was key. Now look at the buy here for Chiefs. It's non-existent. CZ's, Tech 9, a scout. This is so dire for them. Sterling's being tagged up quite heavily, but so is Flix. This is surely a round for Grayhound, short of pistol miracles. And Dexter finds 1 kill. He's tagged up 2. Where will it fall here, Cyber?
Well, it might actually fall at the hands of the rest of the Grayhound members. Dick Stacy is riddled 1, Urcast is riddled a 2nd, and now it is
Moe
versus 5, and now he has deceased. Go to land, Grayhounds, and roar your cheers to the sky. They are your winners of the series, 2 maps to 1.
What a dominant performance on those last 2 maps. Some huge rounds, especially. Like, what was that? That was a 1v3 for Dick Stacy, I believe, and what was their 15th round 1? That stole the game. That was a round that they could not afford to lose. Grayhound, if they lost that round, they had no money. That gives a window for Chiefs to come back in. Chiefs, instead, if they lose that round, they don't have money. They have nothing. They have Tech 9s, CZs, and they got dumpstered because of it.
And a real unfortunate thing. Basically, the hand was forced for the T player against Dick Stacy because there were only like 6-7 seconds. It was either frag this person or put the bomb down. It was severely unsafe. And just really unfortunate for the Chiefs. And that was basically the window shut for them. And that'll be Grayhound in a, dominant performance. Yeah, it didn't start off well, but it finished extremely strong.
Well, you know what, Saber? I think they've heard a lot about our thoughts personally. There's someone's thoughts I want to hear. Someone who I want to pick the brain of here, Mr. Cyberwaste. And that is, of course, our beautiful analyst with the best hair out of all three of us. And that is Sassy. So we'll be bringing him in here. Sassy, what did you think of that dismantling?
Well, there's not much to say other than dismantling. Like, just I feel that Grayhound, they just really have their number on Chiefs. They know what they're doing, and they just completely outplayed them. And I feel like, just the confidence coming out of Grayhound. Like, I feel like, it's making them be a bit more aggressive, take those fights. As you were saying, Chiefs, they were saving a lot. You could see that they were nervous to take fights. That maybe they probably could have gone. Maybe that might have given them a few more rounds to be able to play on the T side a bit longer. It would have been interesting to see it played the other way around with Chiefs starting on T side. Maybe they might have been able to get into their groove a little bit more and, work into that CT side. But I feel like playing CT side nuke, once you're getting dismantled on the CT side, is sort of demoralizing in a way. I feel like it takes away your confidence.
Especially after they came off that demoralizing loss on Dust 2.
For sure.
I think we definitely talked about that after that map. That one of the key factors for Chiefs are going to be how they shook that off. Because, yeah, it's one thing to get absolutely stomped on a map. It's another thing to come back in and then be like, yeah, it didn't happen. I have zero recollection of what just happened. Let's come in and stomp these guys going into the third map. And one of the things that to me would honestly have been really interesting was if we had the series ordered differently. If it had started out on Dust, maybe, and then you have the Inferno confidence building map for Chiefs, and you get a much more confidence. But you're completely right. They looked shook, Cyberwaste. And, I mean, that really prevented them from getting any windows in. Was there anything else that you saw?
Well, that basically just said everything that needed to be said. We could go through the what-ifs all day. But the fact does remain, Inferno maybe wasn't the best test of skill. It still was tight in the end when you compare it to the rest of the series. But basically, bell to bell after Dust 2 had basically been the pistol round started there, and then the follow-up, Chiefs got 2. Good. But then it was just Grayhound burying their fangs and running all over Chiefs, not only for Dust 2, but for Nuke to follow. And well, it's very safe to say, not only via actions, but via the numbers behind the members of Grayhound, they were the better team, and they won handily.
Yeah. I think one thing I didn't want to bring into this, like, from the start, was obviously, Chiefs playing a best of 3 before this. You could see once they lost us to, you could start to see that, they have been playing quite a lot of CSGO today, and I feel like maybe that got to them in a way, because I feel like they came out guns blazing on Inferno, and maybe that's because they were a bit more, warmed up and ready to go compared to Grayhound. And then as soon as, they got that momentum killed, I feel like playing 2 best of 3s in one day, it can be pretty tiring. And I feel like once they started losing that momentum, it just sort of snowballed from there, really.
Well, I mean, it's unfortunate the way that Counter-Strike, almost unfortunate, I should say, that with the number of games to be played out there, there's so much. There is cases like this where you're playing best of 3 beforehand. And that's a lot of maps of Counter-Strike to play at a high level, especially since it did go all 3 maps, as you mentioned. You know, you're sitting here, this is a 6th map of the last couple hours for you. It's easy to see it slip a bit at the end. Cyberwaste, do you have anything else to add?
Nothing of, well, really of note, but a big congratulations to the members of Grayhound and commiserations to Chiefs. They definitely did put up a good fight and contributed their part to a good show. But now, for myself and you two gentlemen, I want to propose a question. Who would be your MVP for this set?
Ooh, I mean, Dick Stacy was super consistent across all 3 maps to me. He'd definitely be up there in a nominee, but I have to, like, the last showing was the important map. Demoralizing a team was the I think everybody and their dog kind of had a pretty good idea that Dust 2 wasn't going to be a competitive map in this series. So coming in on the 3rd map, starting strong and having a really strong game, I have to give it to Dexter with the way that he played. He played on an absolute other level on Nuke. So yeah, but to me, it's between Dexter and Dick Stacy. I think Dick Stacy is probably better over the course of the series, but Dexter, man, just that ending. Sassy, though, you're the analyst. What do you have to say?
Well, Dick Stacy, like, obviously, you know, definitely did very well. But one thing to note is Dexter. I felt like, you know, an older player, and, you know, he really had that composure and really did what he needed to do when it was important. And was it on Nuke where he went off as well?
Yeah, he had back-to-back 4Ks on Nuke, and I think I didn't actually check at the very end, but I think he was pretty close to a 30 bomb.
Yeah, 'cause he almost got an ace as well, didn't he? And it ended in the 1v1 clutch against Felix, and he got the wallbang.
Yeah, and definitely a big feather of the cap. And, well, to give my contributing 2 cents, I'd definitely give it. It was basically a 2-horse race, as Graham alluded to. It was basically between Dexter and Dick Stacy. And, well, for how much of a factor Dick Stacy was for 2 of the maps, and for the fact that I find him not only extremely amazing, not only out of the game, but extremely marketable, I will give the informal MVP to Dick Stacy.
So looking at it, I just finally managed to find the stats. Dexter was 29 and 12 on that last map.
Ooh, Doctor.
And he was actually almost the top fragger across all 3 maps. He was 25 and 20 on Inferno. Urcast was 16 and 16. Dick Stacy was 12 and 16. On Dust, Dick Stacy was 25 and 9. Dexter is 23 and 10. And on the final map, Dexter was 29 and 12, Urcast 20 and 13, and Dick Stacy 18 and 13. So all very big performances from those guys. But absolutely, I think we're probably safe to say that despite Cyber leaning to Dick Stacy, that Dexter was the MVP. And that will be it for us here. If you have enjoyed it, I've been joined by, of course, it's Sassy Mate. I believe that's also your Twitter, Sassy, is it not?
Twitter and my Twitch as well.
And that's it's with a Z. Right?
With the Z. The Z is important.
Correct.
Absolutely. Give our beautiful analyst a follow, especially if you love his hair, and also tweet at him how much you love his hair, because his hair is amazing. We did also have Mitch in on the analyst at the beginning there. Did have to leave, unfortunately, halfway through. Of course, if you've enjoyed the casting, I've been, of course, joined by my beautiful right-hand man, Justin Cyberwaste Lutz. You can give him a follow at I am Cyberwaste. Right?
Indeed. And unless the guy that holds on to the actual account named Cyberwaste, if he logs into his Twitter and gives me it, I think it's going to stay that way for quite a while.
Fair enough. Of course, also a shout out to our production maestro. Mitch Escher was helping out on production, but the in-game observer and our overall production guru was you and me. And I believe his Twitter is, in fact, you_n_me. He can correct me. No underscores. It's just you and me. Okay, sorry, he has corrected me in my ear. I had his Twitter wrong. I think tweeted once today with the wrong producer. So I'm sorry, whoever you and me is. It's you and me 157. He'll post that in Twitch chat, and I think if you actually type !casters, that's going to tell you all of that fun stuff. I, of course, am Graham Dreamboat Morrison. You can give me a follow on Twitter at DreamboatCasts. We have been here for CappingTV at CappingTV on Twitter. And this was the ESEA MDL Season 29 Grand Finals between Chiefs and Grayhound. Grayhound winning the series 2-1, punching their ticket to the ESEA Global Challenge. That's been all of us here at CappingTV. Have a great evening, everyone. Drive safe.
Good night and happy fragging.
See you, gamers.